Hey everybody, and welcome to Wild Ride with Steveo. Some of you might have noticed that we took a week off for that crazy election, but we are back. I also want you to know that I really pay attention to your guys' feedback. I like constructive feedback, and I did get a lot of criticism for the last podcast, the one with Danny Way, and I brought that up with logic in this great conversation. You know, I care about you guys, and I care about giving you good stuff. And I believe this, ladies and gentlemen, is good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, logic. Yeah, dude.
Sup?
This is my co-host, Scott Randolph.
What's up, dude?
And off camera, you'll hear the voice of the gorgeous Paul Brisske.
Oh, wow. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Yeah, dude.
Very sexual voice. Like that.
Thank you.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
So first off, man, thank you for doing this, dude. It's an honor. I don't think that you really do a lot of podcasts. So I saw H3 did that.
Yeah, I did. I did H3. I did friggin' How I Made This with Guy Raz. I've done a few, but I don't really do a lot. I'm kind of about it with people that I really respect and like. So, I mean, we get requests, but I'm kind of like, I don't really fuck with a lot of people. I don't really trust people like that, you know? And I think when it comes to content, meeting someone in the middle where it's good for both parties and it's not like we're trying to get something from the other person, it feels very natural, I'm with. So that's why I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this.
Cool, man. Well, shoot, dude, we appreciate it, dude. Booking the podcast is generally a nightmare, dude.
It's Steve's least favorite thing to do.
I fucking hate it, dude. It's just like mass rejection is really what it amounts to, you know? And so, yeah, again, thank you for doing this. First off...
Yeah, that sounds like my rap career. Mass rejection. I like that.
You, before getting into rap, you were a diehard skateboarder, is that right?
Yes. Big skateboarder.
So we've got that in common.
Do you still skate?
Yeah.
Like for fun?
Before I moved to Montana, I was in LA and I saw these kids on the street. This is like before COVID. And they were skating and I was like, hey, kid. And I was like, well, this looks really weird. I'm like a 30-year-old man, like yelling out of my window at children. And they're like, what? And then they're like, holy shit, it's Logic. And I was like, do a kickflip.
Nice.
And the kid couldn't do it. So I got out of my car and I fucking nollie flipped it. And they were like, holy shit. So I still kind of got it now, but now I'm like it's like when you're a kid and then you see the old guys skating and you know that at one point they were pretty good, but it's kind of sad to watch them do it like that. I felt like I was that guy.
Yeah, dude. I get it, man. I'm 46 years old, and I'm working on putting together a skate part to outdo all of my previous skating in my life. And
dude, I saw you do the ramp wall ride. That was amazing.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, dude. That was a big one when I was a kid. I feel like for all the people who tell me, yo, dude, people always say I look like you. I feel like you and I actually bear some kind of resemblance to each other.
Yeah, I think it's probably because we're so goddamn sexy.
Yeah, do you ever get that you look like Steveo?
Yeah, I get Steveo and he gets Squints from the Sandlot.
That's funny.
Steve gets squints too. You guys, it's like the same category of human. You guys are in there.
From time to time, though, I get Brad Pitt.
Nice. Nice. And I guess, like, when was it that you announced that you were retiring? And
yeah, it was like, I think it was like 2 weeks before my last album came out, No Pressure. And yeah, I'm just tired of all the bullshit. You know, and I know you know how that is just in general with entertainment. You know, when you're hot, people love you. When you're not, there's, you know, nobody's calling or this or that or whatever. And I'm sick of bullshit. Like, I love hip hop. Hip hop is so beautiful. But the fuckboy culture around it of like clickbait and everyone wants to kill each other. And, you know, as far as like beefing rappers, once again, not everyone's like this. Hip hop isn't based on that. Hip hop is based on unity, on expression. And I think I was just kind of at a place where it's like all these like gatekeepers, I felt like I hadn't been accepted by them. And yet you got cats like Wu-Tang and Nas and, you know, all my heroes love me. So I'm like, why is it that I'm trying to, and then what I realized is without even knowing it, I had kind of like just fallen on my ass into this mainstream world. And it just wasn't fun. So I didn't want to do it anymore. And I got my little boy, little Bobby, and he's amazing. And I'm just kind of focused on that. I still make music though, literally surrounded. There's like 6 guitars next to me and like MPC beat machines and shit.
Nice.
What does retiring look like though, if you're still going to do music?
Excuse me while I interrupt this broadcast to go charging into the bathroom while my fiance is showering to bring you a very important message. Hey, baby. Thanksgiving is coming, okay? And have you ever heard of Brown Friday? Yeah, it's the day after Thanksgiving, and it's the busiest day of the year for plumbers. Why? I think you know. And when you're taking that big, huge, sloppy shit on Brown Friday, I want you to know how important it is to use a squatty potty. What is it? It's a little stool that lives in front of your toilet, which puts your legs in the right position to give you a full and complete evacuation. A total 100% shit. Now, why is that important? Because the human body was designed to poop while squatting. And this whole toilet system that we've conjured up has done nothing but create problems with colon cancer, all kinds of other bad things, and you take much better, complete, and healthier poops if you use a squatty potty. How do you get yours? You go to squattypotty.com/Stevo and you get 20% off your order. Again, that's 20% off your order if you go to squattypotty.com/Stevo. Now, let's talk retirement.
I think it's like, one thing as I get older, so I'm 30 now, everything for me, probably up until the last year, it was always finite, like this is it. You know, like I'm doing an album. This is it. There's only going to be 16 songs on it. That's it. And it's like, I haven't even made one yet. Or, you know, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and whatever. And now as I get older, I'm just kind of like go with the flow. So, you know, there's some people who's like, oh, he's not going to stay retired, or he's not going to this, or he's not going to that. But I guess for me, it's more so like the bullshit of the industry is what I'm leaving. And I'm kind of tired of rap. I love rap music. I love rappers. I love modern rap. I love old school rap. I really love it all. I'm tired of it because rap is a bunch of braggadocio. Not all rap and not all my rap, but a lot of it is founded in here's why I'm the best, better than you, got more money than you, got this. And the shit is like systemically ingrained in us to kind of like boast and whatever the case may be. So even though I would consider myself a conscious rapper, sorry for the long-winded answer here.
All good, dude.
Even though I would consider myself, like a very conscious rapper who speaks on a lot of, you know, life shit, I still have fallen down that rabbit hole of like a bit of, I wouldn't even necessarily say like materialism, because I'm not really a materialistic person.
Maybe self-importance.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, thanks, Ace.
Yep.
I think it's, I kind of just fell out of love with me doing it. So, you know, even on these songs that I'm making now, it's like I'm singing on them. And there's some raps. I remember I was in the studio with my homies the other day, and we made this crazy ass song. It sounds like kind of like some like Tame Impala shit. And I'm looking around and I'm like, I did this whole thing and I'm singing, I'm hitting these high notes. I'm so proud of myself for pushing myself and trying learn the fucking guitar, but not like learning it like a pussy, like where I'm on stage, like, yeah, I know this one chord, but like I'm really going in, you know? And there's a section I'm like, yo, you know what sounds so dope is somebody rapped right here. Who could we get to rap? And then like 6 people in the studio just look at me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I do that. So retirement, I have no desire to, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I just gave you all that to give you a fucking nothing answer.
No, it's cool. When you're before retirement, would you be like making a song and be like, oh, this song is cool, but is it a Logic song? Like, did you kind of feel trapped in this image of like what a Logic song is? Because you've always kind of been pretty eclectic with your music.
Thank you. I think, yeah. Well, see, I started out super underground, right? So I had like all these mixtapes years ago, and I'm just rapping on just Wu-Tang shit, just super like, you know, rappers rap. And then, but I didn't always want to do that. And then, you know, people like Drake started coming out and all this shit. And I was like, oh, I could sing too. Yeah, girl. Oh, yeah. So then I'm like trying all that shit, but it sounded pretty good. And then I started trying like trap music. So I created these like different, almost aliases, right? Those mixtapes that were super boom bap and very raw were called Young Sinatra, because I called myself like the Young Sinatra, and my fan base is the Rat Pack, spelled with 2 T's, for real all the time, because we keep it real all the time. No. Anyway, and so that was kind of the boom bap kind of thing. And then Logic was more like, just Logic was kind of teetering in between popular music, but still very introspective. And then I created this character called Bobby Tarantino, which is just super ignorant trap music, you know, shit like that. So I think my biggest issue that I had until I stopped giving a fuck, well, I probably 89% don't give a fuck. We all care. We all want to be loved, right? But I think my biggest issue was, and then I released a like an indie rock album just for fun. So you have these different people who like, no, we like this Logic, do this thing because I want to do something trap. And then you have all these people who be like, oh no, this trap, this sucks. This is terrible. But that's all the songs going platinum and having millions and hundreds of millions of streams. But to this core section, they're like, this isn't good enough. So then when I do that again, then everyone who loves the trap is like, I can't fuck my girlfriend to this. This sucks. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that was a fun, but I just like trolling people. I never really gave a shit.
Nice. Dude, I was always curious about rappers because like I play a lot of chess or I play a lot of Tetris. And so
oh my God, I love chess.
But so I play so much though that when I'm walking down the street, my brain is constantly like just doing chess moves in my head for no reason. Are you, when you're thinking to yourself, are you just like rapping? Like, is it rhyming with what you're thinking? Is it? Does that make sense? I mean, that's kind of a weird.
That's a pretty good question. No, but
but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like,
no, I think I can think in song structure, but not actual raps. Like what I would do. Well, actually, no, that's bullshit. Yes, of course. It's just something I did more when I was younger because I was so into it. So I'd walk down the street. I had this line. I remember I was in a car in LA like 4 or 5 years ago. And we're just driving down this barren road. And I'm listening to Frank Sinatra, who I love. And I got this line where I'm like, I got Sinatra money. I've always been Frank. But like the play on words is Benjamin Franklin, $100 bills. You know, I've always been Frank. So it's like Sinatra money. I've been Frank, I'm being frank with you. So these are things that I would, you just sit there and think about it. I remember I was on an airplane for this last album, and one of my favorite lines is, what is it? Hurricane Bobby in the studio blowing trees. What the fuck is it? Sorry, 1 second. There's a lot of shit going on up here.
A lot of lines.
Diacritical lifestyle. I'm always overseas. And I really love that line because I didn't even know what the fuck a diacritical character was. And I was looking up grammar just to like, are there any play on words that I could use with grammar? And a diacritical character is basically like a squiggly line accenting a word, like in France, like français or amigo. And so if you have this diacritical character overseas, It's kind of like I lead a diacritical lifestyle. I'm always overseas, which is a play on word from the letter to also.
Shit.
Dude, it's crazy.
Like Jason Acuna has got the wiggly line over N.
Yeah.
So that's a diacritical N?
That's a diacritical character. Yeah.
Over an N.
Oh, got it. I'm always overseas. I like that. I want to thank you for taking care of a lot of the talking, because I got myself a lot of negative feedback last week when we had Danny Way on. Now, in my defense, I was just really fucking excited. Danny Way's always been my hero. You know, I know his life so well, and the whole podcast just played out with Danny Way watching me tell fucking Scott over here all about Danny Way, and I really blew it, dude. So, thank you for.
I don't think you blew it. Fuck those people. They can suck my dick.
Yeah, you can't
You're
read
happy.
the
You're
comments.
excited, man.
Yeah, I was excited, dude. That's true, and thank
That's
you
all
for
that
that.
matters.
Thank you for
Yo,
that.
and it's Danny Way, bro. It's like
Danny
the
Way,
king of
dude.
the fucking air.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
I stopped reading the comments when somebody told me I looked like Amy Schumer. And I couldn't argue with them, dude.
You know what's really funny? I don't know how this happens, and I know it's not just me. I think I'm more conscious. So many of these like interviews that I've done recently, and I don't once again do a lot, or podcasts, we somehow always end up talking about social media because it's everywhere in the sense of like its effect on us. You guys, actually, my buddy just sent me this. It's hilarious. He saw this. He saw somebody, I guess, had described the album before my last. So the album before No Pressure, the album that just came out, called Confessions of a Dangerous. Sorry, what?
I was gonna guess which one it was, but I was gonna be wrong because I was thinking of the sophomore album, which was The True Story.
Oh, Incredible True Story? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And even though it was extremely popular and very commercially successful, for whatever reason, my fans like hated on it. But now it's funny because time passes on some Bob Dylan shit and they're like, oh, this is actually really good. So listen to this. My buddy sent me a screenshot of somebody who said this statement. Tell me if this makes any sense. I think it's hilarious. For as much as I hate Confessions of a Dangerous Mind era logic, the art for the singles and the album itself is fucking phenomenal. I thought that was hilarious. My buddy gave me a good laugh there.
Yeah.
That's another thing you and Steve have in common is you're both retired rappers. Did you know Steve had a rap career?
Scott really threw me under the bus right here. Man. But before I go through the ringer, let me tell you how much I love pillows. In my house, dude, I got closets full of pillows. I'm crazy about them. And my favorite ones by far, tested, tried, and true, are made by Helix. How do I know that? Because I know pillows. And I went to helixsleep.com and took their 2-minute quiz, plugged in my info. They turned me on to the mattress that's exactly right for me and my girl. And God, I love it so much. So why is this important to you? Because if you go to helixsleep.com/Stevo, you can get the best mattress for you and up to $200 off any mattress you pick. Plus, you get 2 free pillows. And that is I love it as much as the mattress itself. The Helix pillows, I'm a king-size pillow kind of guy. And I like one between my legs too. And I like having it all while I'm sleeping on my Helix mattress. So again, for up to $200 off of any mattress, plus 2 free pillows, go to helixsleep.com/Stevo. And now let's let Logic know what a douche I am.
Are you serious?
There was a minute there where I was super on drugs. It was before I got sober, and I don't know, it was like a funny thing. I went and recorded a rap song just to be funny, and it kind of was funny. And then it was like, oh, I'll do a whole fucking album of dumb comedy rap.
What was your name? Vanilla Spice?
No, it was Steve-O. My album was called Hard as a Rock. And it was just idiotic. But I ended up getting a record deal, and once that happened, I started like buying into it, like taking it seriously somehow. And I just got more and more on drugs and just out of control, and it represented the worst chapter of my life. And
Sorry to bring it up.
it's all good.
He's saying it's the worst.
It's all good, man. And I mean, that was like right before I got sober. You know, like it was.
That was your bottom.
I was in rehab when the record company said they're gonna just shelve it or whatever, like not put it out. And now, like that was 12 years. So I've been sober 12 years. And I don't know if it's a function of always looking for some new YouTube video to make. Like we really are pretty active in creating content. And it's come up from time to time that I should make a fucking a rap redemption song.
Yep.
You know, like to try to, even if it's funny, if it's whatever, but to be like, to I don't know, to forgive myself for that awful chapter, to like bring it full circle, to get closure.
Well,
on
I'll
it.
give you a verse. I'll give you a verse on that.
All right, how about that,
That's
dude?
sick as fuck.
That's
Dude.
fucking huge.
Yeah.
I was
that'd
gonna
be,
say
that'd be
I-
super fun.
It took me a second to compute what that meant. I was about to say, I thought it was like, whoa, I'm not gonna have ghostwriters, dude. You can't give me any of my verses, dude. But yeah, dude, that'd be great, man. That'd be super cool. Now, here's a question, because you know, we were all sort of separately kind of, you know, watching videos on you and doing a little bit of research, and it seems like there's two different stories for how you were initially introduced to the Wu-Tang Clan as a fan. One was that from Kill Bill, the movie, that you really liked the music, you looked into it and learned that it was produced by RZA.
Yeah.
And the other one was just like, oh, my buddy played me some Wu-Tang.
Well, okay. You actually, holy shit, you're the first person to ever bring that up.
And props
guess
to
both-
Paul Brisske, because it would, like, I saw one, he saw the one about Kill
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah. I think both are true. So it was my buddy Josh, and it was literally like the same within a span of like a couple weeks, right? So my buddy's like, "Oh, check this out. This is Wu-Tang Clan." And everyone knows Wu-Tang Clan. Like I had heard of Wu-Tang Clan, you know, but I hadn't really dived into it. So he plays me this album, and it's actually a live album from Rock the Bells, but it's more so in the background, and we're just like getting stoned and not even like, I'm not even really paying attention. But that's when I was really like, oh, so Wu-Tang Clan is 9 guys. Okay, cool. All right, great. Then I go watch Kill Bill, and then I hear this awesome soundtrack, this amazing movie, and it says the RZA, and I'm like, who the fuck is the RZA? So I was just such a noob in this sense that I didn't know that the RZA was in Wu-Tang Clan. So then when I kind of paired those two together, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And that's when I went into my deep dive of discovering Wu-Tang Clan.
So both stories are kind of true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And that represented, like, you diving into rap. Is that right?
100%. Yeah, so it's really Tarantino. I have him. I have his tattoo actually right here of his signature. Hopefully, he doesn't get like Weinstein. I think he just likes to suck on toes. That's fine.
Is that what's happening
doesn't?
now with Quentin Tarantino?
No. Quentin is
But
fine.
it would just be
Quentin is fine.
unfortunate.
Oh yeah, dude.
I was just joking.
I
I was
mean,
saying
he
the
was,
worst thing he
like-
does is
He was
I think
sucking
I've
on
ever said.
toes, but
He's a toe
Sucks
sucker
toes.
for sure.
Like, Weinstein did all of his movies and shit, so, I mean, who knows? Well,
Well, so I have a question with retirement and stuff, and how Steve was talking about like how the rap, like sort of being a rapper, like kind of went to his head, and like, you know, you were like sort of tired of the bullshit that you're seeing around you. But was there also like, did you see that bullshit living in yourself? Was there parts of yourself that you didn't like that you were seeing like come out through all this success and mainstream popularity and stuff?
did you become what you hated?
No, I'm pretty awesome.
Cool.
No, I'm joking, but no, I've always been very proud of myself because I've been myself, and I've always worn my heart on my sleeve, you know? And I think that's why I never fit in, because I was always talking about my emotions and anxiety and going through depression and this shit when like it wasn't cool. Now it's kind of like cool to be like, oh, I'm fucking fucked up and I'm, whatever. Yeah, no, it wasn't cool. People were like clowning me and making fun of me and calling me fucked up names and making diss songs against me and, saying all types of shit. That wasn't really fun, but that's not why I left. It's not like I got bullied out of rap, I think the reason I left, now I do what I want. I do whatever the hell I want. And for a long time, I didn't feel like I could do whatever the hell I want. I felt like I was a prison to schedules and touring and, this and that. And that it was, nothing was ever good enough. Like I remember being a kid in my godmother's attic and saying, oh man, if I could just go on tour, I'd sleep in the back of a minivan, dude. Like I would, I'd play for free, man. It wouldn't matter. And I did that. And then I was like, all right, I kind of need to make some money. And then you make a little bit of money and you're like, I need more fans. And then you get more fans. And then you're like, man, if I could just sell it to fucking Roxy in LA, 500 people, that's it. I made it. I did it. And then you sell it out. And then you're like, okay, House of Blues, 1,200. And then you're like, okay. And then it's 3,000. Then before you know it, it's 2018 and you just sold out Madison Square Garden. And yet it doesn't feel good enough. It doesn't feel like,
Right.
You don't feel like you made it, because then you still have this legion of people, whether it's on the internet or naysayers or critics, telling you why you're still not good enough. So it's this negative thing. Like, and this is something that I think people are now, the average person is experiencing via social media, because what people in the spotlight or known people would receive all the time, like, you suck, you this, you that, you that. Now you have your average, 7th grade girl and someone's like, you have no tits, bitch. And she's like, wants to kill herself. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a real thing, dude. So I think people are kind of wising up to a lot of what's going on in this world. And for me, I had just had enough of that, because I am good. I'm a good guy and I'm a talented man and I'm a good husband and a loving father. I don't need a bunch of people who never even met me or don't even do what I can't even do what I do, telling me why it's not good enough. So I kind of had made that decision.
Dude, there's so much good shit in what you just said, and yeah, I agree that there's a lot of it that is kind of about the era that we're in right now. But at the same time, the idea of, and I love the way you described it, like, oh, if I could just be on tour but then I need some money and then sell out to Roxy and then and it's never good enough. That's the basic premise of Buddhism, is that the cause of all suffering is craving, right? Like let's say if you're in pain, if you're in pain, you crave for the pain to end. But if you're having some pleasant sensation, then you crave for it to last longer, for it to become more intense. No matter what fucking position you're in, you always crave for something more. So if it's the Roxy, then great. No matter what, we're never going to be fucking satisfied. And that's like sort of the whole fucking human condition. No matter how good it gets. And I was actually just sharing this like at a group level last night with a group of guys that I meet with. I was like, man, my life is so fucking dope. My life is so good. And yet somehow, in the face of just such great situations, I can just feel twisted up and fucking and unsatisfied and just like everything's not okay. Like, I don't know why I can't fucking relax and be like, dude, look at where you're at. Like, holy fuck, life is so good. But that's the human condition, dude. It's crazy.
I think that's also, yes, it is the human condition, bro. Like, it's just never going to be, nothing is ever going to be good enough in a way, like no matter what. So I think it's like doing our best to be present. That's what I try to do. It's like, I know, it's like, yeah, sure, I want to be loved by my fans. But then I'm like, well, I'm not dropping any rap albums, so what the fuck? Like, there's no more music. So how can I still get that? But then the real question is, why do I need that?
Right.
And this is a reason I'm also stepping away. It's like, I don't need to be validated by people I've never even met. But then at the same time, it's deeper than validation, because it's also knowing that I've connected to and been able to touch people emotionally and mentally, and possibly said the words through my music that they couldn't even conjure to, express themselves. So it's this, but then that's just me sucking my own dick and me getting self gratification.
I get all that
but
too.
Even though it's from a pure place, right? It's just, fuck it. I'm a human. I fuck up. I make mistakes, and YOLO.
Dude, I get all that too. And as about the fans, like that's one thing that really comes through with you is this dedication to the fans, you know, and like going around like on a whole tour just to like visit people in their house or their apartment. What I'm curious about, because I'm sort of a similar situation, like with my comedy tour. You know, I've been doing this stand-up comedy tour for like 10 years now. And at the end of every show, before I walk off stage, I've always said without fail, I will not go anywhere or do anything until I've taken a photo with every single one of you guys that wants one. And then at the end of the show, like everybody, you know, for the most part, kind of gets in line and I do this big meet and greet with the entire audience. And that's, you know, the biggest shows that we're going to do are probably like 1,200 people or something like that. But we'll fucking sit there to the bitter end. And we love it too because we turn this shit into a flea market and sell all this merch, you know?
Of course, yeah.
But what I'm curious about is when you sell out Madison Square Gardens, like what does a meet and greet look like in that scenario?
I stopped doing meet and greets.
Good.
So let me so let me tell you why. Because I spent years and years and years and years doing it from the very beginning, you know, to the point where we started and there was, you know, 50 people we would see a day. And mind you, we would charge for it. It was nothing at the time. It was like, you know, a little upcharge. You get a ticket and then you get a meet and greet. And I would always meet people before the show. And I'd always have these people, like other people like rushing me, like, come on, Bob, like, you know, hurry up. We got to. And I'm like, fuck that. Because when I see a fan, I'm like, what's your name? Where you from? Who's this? Is she your girlfriend? No? Cool. She's hot. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm just kidding. So I'd meet these people and everything was always very from like a sweet and pure place. I treated everyone just the same. I mean, why wouldn't you? But I mean, it's like, I just made that joke. Like I wasn't a creep towards women. I was always as sweet as possible. And I was just as sweet to men, to children, to whatever, because I really legitimately give a shit. And I was like, this is, you like me? Like what? You know what I mean? Like, this is amazing. And I did that for fucking 8 years, bro. And not just, I don't tour once a year, bro. We would do 2, 3, 4 tours in a year. And, you know, some of these tours were 50 shows in a row almost, you know, and I'm meeting these people every day, but I'm getting sick because I'm hugging everyone and I'm, you know, taking the time. But it's also, I'm speaking for like 2 hours before a show. And you know, somebody will paint my face on like some crazy shit. And then you scream, you know how it is. Oh my God, that's crazy. And then, you know, I'm fucking my voice up and I'm getting sick. And this is back before, because I quit smoking cigarettes and I used to eat like shit. I was like 130 pounds, if that. And, you know, smoking cigarettes. I think I just said that. Anyway, so I was constantly getting sick, but I loved it. And then it started to become more about money, and not for me, but like for other, like, come on, man, you got to do these meet and greets, man. You got to do this so you could pay for your tour, man, so you can afford the bus, man, to do this, da, da, da. And then I'm like seeing these people and it's like, I don't even want to see you. Like, I love that you're my fan. I don't want to fucking be here right now. And then it turned into, I don't want to perform. And then it turned into, I just can't deal with any of this shit anymore. And that isn't what I mean by me retiring. I just mean that to say, I was like, I'm not doing meet and greets anymore. I'm only touring when the fuck I want. I just started to learn how to say no, you know? It's like, right. I constantly was saying yes, yes, yes to everything. And I learned how to say no. And and now when I still see fans every show, except there's no money involved. It's me going to the diehards who are waiting out back in the fucking rain or the snow or whatever, and seeing all of them and taking selfies and bringing them free merch and throwing it to them. And that's what it's about for me now.
Merch. What kind of online merch operation do you have? We like to ask this of everybody.
Merch is, I think merch is probably my second. It's my, It's between merch and touring. So, but they go hand in hand, right?
Right,
so I would
right.
put touring first, and then I would say merchandise. But it's pretty gnarly
As far as
And the
revenue
reason-
streams.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's like, I mean, I forget where we were. I mean, we last time we went on a tour, we broke records everywhere we went.
What kind of
So, like,
stuff are
Red
you selling?
Rocks. Say what?
What kind of merch are you selling?
Oh, everything. And I love it. I put so much time into my merch. Like, we're selling hoodies, we sell beanies, we sell socks, we sell t-shirts. And I like to sell a lot of shit that's like super just simple, but it has like really cool designs on it. Like I would wear, if I don't wear it, I'm not going to sell it. That's a real thing. And that's how I also feel about endorsements. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if it's tennis shoes or if it's this or if it's that, if I don't like it, I don't care how much money you're going to, give me, because I have to enjoy what I'm, offering to people, or at least support and like the brand.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was crazy. The only thing that sucks about merchandise is when you do packaging with deals, with albums, because it takes forever. And so my last album came out like months ago, and there's still fans that like aren't getting their merchandise yet. Yeah, it's insane, but they're gonna get it. And then that shit for that is like a little cheaper. You know what I mean? Just because it's you get like we make it so affordable, like insanely, like where you could get a t-shirt for $9.99 and it comes with an album and it is and all these different things. But the real Logic merch, I mean, yeah. And I fought, bro. There's like we have this really, you know what? I'll send you guys some. I'll get your sizes.
Cool, man.
I'll send you some merch.
Sick.
Super stoked.
But I have this Letterman jacket, and I put so much time into it. I think they wanted to sell it for like $285 or something, a jacket. And I was like, suck my dick. Like, no, you're not going to do that to my fans, bro. Because these people are just thinking about the money. And I'm thinking about money long term. If we sell something where we're still making a gnarly profit, right? It's still good. But if we sell it closer to cost, that same fan is going to buy the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, rather than or multiple things at the same time, rather than having to blow their load on fucking one item. You know what I mean?
I think we're pretty good about keeping shit affordable. And the reason why I asked about that is like Scott does all my merch, and
Sick.
we
With passion, he does.
with passion, big time.
Fucking-
And we just there's three different sort of approaches for the celebrity to do merchandise online. One is like a one-stop shop where they're gonna print the shirts, they're gonna take the orders, they're gonna fulfill the order. Then there's the second tier, which would be you've got your own Shopify account. You get your own shit printed, but then your Shopify account is linked up to a third-party fulfillment center. And then there's what we just started, which is we just got our first fucking warehouse. So now it's like we're hiring a fucking warehouse team, and fucking we're doing our own fucking fulfillment, which is
That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Especially because, you guys are blessed enough to be doing such kick-ass shit where you can take the money that you're making, and you're obviously profiting, and you're just giving it back to the fans anyway, right? You know what I mean? It's like you're giving them what they want, they're giving you what you want, and everyone's happy. So I think it's very genius of you to like really go in and do it as a family. I think it's great.
oh, dude, super stoked, man. And we only just got the keys, like what, fucking last week?
Yeah.
Like we haven't even started yet, but like if it does go the way we picture it going, we're just doing my store, like only my merch. Like we're fucking the place that we've been at has 3,600 clients. I'm one of 3,600 clients. Like this place looks like a fucking football stadium. It's so huge, and it's just like we're so lost in the shuffle. But we're going to be able to pay like so much attention to every fucking order. We already do that.
Well, we got
anyway.
some dope merch coming out too. So it's like, hey, dude, you know what? I'm going to pick somebody's name, sign it, and then send it out myself. Or we can throw a little extra love and like throw $20 in a book or something like that and be more hands-on and ship it out. And just, it just makes all the difference in the world.
But yeah, that's why I was asking, like, how, like, what's your website?
So it's logicmerch.com, but basically I just did a giant deal with Warner So
Okay.
Warner prints all my shit. So that's usually who I do a lot of my fighting with about price points. But they're good. They're really great people over there. And even though I kind of ripped them apart earlier, but anyway, they're good people and they care. But at the end of the day, like any giant company, they only
Sure.
care because I'm popping. And I understand that. So I use that power that I have just to ensure that my fans get what's best for them. But yeah, so I'm with a giant company. But that's also how I feel about like even record labels. Like they say, oh, don't sign with record labels and blah, 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 and whatever. I just see them as a bank. You get your money from them. You get your living advance and, you know, you make your music. I used every advance I ever got and put it into the tour buses and into my merch before you sign this big, you know, to show, oh, look how much I can sell of merch independently before they cut you a crazy check, you know?
Right.
But
That's
yeah,
good. Proof of
pretty cool.
concept. So outside of music, like, you got any acting shit going on? Like, do you have any interest in that?
Yeah, I do. I love acting. I've done a few things. I have this show, this episode. I have an episode that is solely revolved around my character in this TV show that's going to be coming out called Mr. Corman, which stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's actually like one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, me too.
So that, yeah, he's so sexy. Anyway, so that's going to be really cool because we kind of became buddies. And he knew that I had a passion for acting and that I really wanted to do it. And he knew that I could do it. And he actually gave me a shot to audition. And he really wanted me to get it. And I got it. And then we filmed, and it's like a dramedy. And there was this crazy scene where I just like go off on him and just like rip him to pieces while also myself falling apart, almost like crying. And then afterwards, everybody on set, when they yelled cut, applauded me. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is a real thing. And Joe was like, man, you know, you're doing it. You're doing a great job. And I'm happy I bet on you. You did it, you know? But I was like running lines with my wife while she's in labor. Like, you know what I mean? Like literally, like we're at the hospital and she's like, distract me. And I'm like, okay, line 4, blah, blah, blah. And then she's running it back. It was really funny.
That's awesome.
There's that. And then also, have you guys ever heard of a game called The Last of Us? It's a video game.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's awesome. It's on PlayStation. It's kind of like about these like zombie kind of things. And I loved it so much. And lo and behold, the universe and the law of attraction, which I believe in, some fucking how I befriended everyone in that game. And I had this audition like 3 years ago. Out of nowhere, they're like, we're working on the second one, but you can't say anything. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like, what? It's my favorite game in the world. I can't believe it. And then so I auditioned for this character and I don't get it. And before I did that audition and the many other auditions where I never got the part, I've had different friends of mine who are actors say, just act like you're not going to get it. Like every time you audition, just put it in your head that you're not going to get it. And don't take it personal if you don't, because it's not about you. You could have acted amazing, but you weren't the right look, or you could be the perfect look, but they need somebody with a darker voice or this or that, all these different things. And I was like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense. So when I didn't get that particular gig, I let it go. I was like, no problem. Still homies with everyone, right? I'm not a weird person. And 2 years later, I get a call from Becky Dodd, who's like a head of casting there. She's a beautiful, amazing woman. And she goes, all right, you got this other part. You got to be here in a week.
Wow.
And just like that, out of nowhere. And I had to learn all these lines and do all this dialogue. And I'm wearing mocap and fucking.
And that's for a video game?
For the video game.
So you're talking about acting in a video game. That's how far.
But
the world
Last
has
of Us
come.
is known for like having a great story to it, right?
It's like a movie, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay. Now, I had this question. I was going to ask it way before, but like, clearly you're like a positive guy, but you know, I can't imagine.
No, I'm not corona positive. What you mean?
I can't imagine you like being really negative with your music, but like, have you ever written a diss? Do you have any diss tracks? Have you had any beefs? Like, have you gotten into that negative shit in the rap world at all?
I think I'm the only person I've been super negative towards is probably myself, right? Uh, just as a human being and as an artist, feeling like a fraud. And before I answer that question, I'll go on to say I actually discovered what my talent is the other day. It hit me like a ton of bricks. My talent is finding more talented people and smarter people than I am, putting them in a room and telling them what the fuck to do so that I look good. That's a joke, but it's actually kind of not. When it comes to the negative aspect of rap and hip hop, I've had more beefs thrown my way than a fucking slaughterhouse. Like I don't know. Damn, that's a good punchline right there. I should write that down. But I've never really responded. You know, I had this beef with this guy named Joyner Lucas. I love how. Oh shit! Hold
He's
on.
calling you right
That's
now.
him. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry, it's my wife. I don't think she realizes I'm doing this. Sorry. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. No worries.
All right. Can you see me? Okay, good. I apologize. So I had a beef with this guy named Joyner Lucas, phenomenal rapper, great rapper. And he just didn't like me. And he was saying all types of shit. And he was like, cause you know, I'm biracial, I'm black and white. And I've, let that be known that my dad is black and my mom is white. And not because I wanted to be like accepted by any community or this or that, but because when everyone's calling you white, but you grew up in a black family, it's like,
Right.
fuck off. Like, at least call me what I am. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, he would like make fun of me for shit like that. And he himself was biracial. And, yeah, he just talked a whole bunch of shit, and I just ignored him, and I ignored him, and I ignored him, and kept talking shit. And he kept talking shit, and I just let it go, and I didn't give a shit. And then one day, I got a call that he wants to get on the phone and apologize, and he does. And I won't go into too much detail because that was between me and him as men. But what he said was he was sorry, and he was wrong, and I said, it's okay. You're my brother, you know, like this is hip hop and thank you. And that was it. And then we went on to make this fucking song that just went platinum. And
Oh, sick.
you know,
Epic.
so anytime I have beef thrown my way, I just don't respond. And it's kind of like a thing that's known in rap now. Like Logic's never going to respond to you because the shit is beneath me, bro. Now that doesn't mean that these people are beneath me. The negativity is beneath me. Because I'm the type of motherfucker that's like, I got guns. If I don't like you and you're talking about you want to kill me, I'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like, I that's how I feel. If you're coming at my life, you're coming at my family, I'll fucking bleed out to protect me and them. So if somebody's coming at me on some rap shit, I'm like, no. Like, you know, I'm not going to go there because then shit can get real. Mm-hmm. And I know that because I know what real hip hop beef is founded and has been founded on. But when somebody's trying to use your name for a little bit of clout or whatever, more power to them. I wish them the best, and I have nothing to say and nothing to give them but my love, though they may be too ignorant to understand that we are just brothers in the same, you know, genre of music.
Yeah, dude.
But is Joyner Lucas the guy that was just with Eminem on that Lucky You song? On the last album, Kamikaze?
Yeah. Yep.
Did Eminem have anything to do with you guys squashing the beef?
No, it was actually Royce the 5'9".
Okay.
Who's also from Detroit and an incredible rapper. Yeah, he was the one. He called me and he was like, "Yeah, man." And I remember months before when Joyner was like really going at me. This is like 2 years ago, mind you.
Oh, okay.
But when he was like really going at me, I was talking to Royce and he was like, "Man, I didn't know you and Joyner were beefing." And I was like, "We're not beefing. He's beefing." Right? And he was like, "But only if you guys knew each other. You guys are such good dudes." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Fuck him. You know, like he doesn't like me. I don't know. I got nothing to say to it." And then later, you know, Royce called me and was like, "Hey, this guy wants to talk to you." And I'm all about peace, bro. That's literally my whole thing. Peace, love, and positivity. And I've been made fun of for that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Sure.
There's people like when I sit here and say I will never engage in a beef, there are people who call that pussy. Like, "Oh, you're a pussy. Like, you don't want the smoke. Like, yeah, cause you whack, cause you garbage, cause you can't handle." And I'm just like, nah, cause I'm gonna like
I got
put
shit
my
to
son
do.
to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep good and make a bunch of money and love my wife and, you know, just fuck her and have a good time. Like, I'm not gonna think about you. I'm not up at night like, oh my God. And that's a big part of kind of leaving this rap game. So once again, when I say I'm retiring, it's really from like hip hop and
Drama.
the negative aspect and the drama and the industry and all the pop shit and all this. It's that. It's not the people I love in rap. It's not what made me fall in love with rap. And that's why I'm rapping, I'm singing, I'm making beats. I'm doing it because I love it. And I'd rather do it this way than kind of do it because I feel like I have to. And I actually felt like I had to for a long time. And then I woke up one day and was like, bro, you made it, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to sound arrogant, but it's like, yeah, I did. I fucking made it and I deserved it and I did it. And I'm talented and I'm all the things that I was hearing I wasn't. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, fuck this. I don't want to do this shit.
So then you're like, I'm getting out of LA.
Yeah, bro. I moved to Montana. I just shoot guns every day. You should see this gun room I'm building right now. It's fucking insane.
So drinking Coors Original, shooting guns.
Yeah, I just walk around with a gun on my hip all day. It's a blast, you know, and not even in a negative. Like I enjoy shooting. For me, it's therapeutic. It's nice. You have a reverence for the weapon. My family's safe, and if I could go like this and every single gun in the world was just evaporated, I would do it. But that's not the fucking world we live in.
That's
yeah,
sick, dude.
So where in Montana?
Oh,
okay, never mind. I didn't ask.
What's your address?
Right.
What's my address?
I'm so
dox
dumb.
me.
I just one of my best friends lives in Montana, so but disregard.
We could talk about that after.
Well, actually, just text me, Steve. After let's get our
cool,
people
man.
to give us.
What's your number?
9.
There you go.
My number's
So
9.
is it cold as fuck there right now? Like,
It's actually kind of it's getting colder for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's been beautiful. But I'm also loving it because I'm originally from Maryland on the East Coast near DC. So I grew up with so many, all the seasons and like fucking hurricanes and whatchamacallits, crazy like snowstorms like the blizzard of 2010. I remember walking. I can tell my son when he's older and complaining, I can be like, I had to walk 3 miles in the fucking snow just to go. Yeah. So I can really do that. But then being in LA was very kind of desensitizing. And you not in a bad way, like it's beautiful weather basically all the time. But I miss the seasons, man. I like kind of bundling up and I like the snow. My wife, she's never seen snow. And we actually had snow here, just a little bit, and it was cool for them to see that.
Yeah, snow is cozy. I grew up in Chicago. I miss the seasons too. Just like, I don't know, just something nice about it. Like everyone kind of goes through it together. It's a nice thing.
Chicago.
Yeah, I just jumped in the ocean yesterday in November. It's crazy.
yeah.
So are you excited to be raising a kid not in LA, like in this like very, I assume it's very peaceful there, kind of slower lifestyle, calmer?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, just because I'm retired don't mean I'm not going to be touring and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got fans. So I know I want to bring my boy and, acting and different endeavors. And once again, who knows what the future holds. My boy, he'll be there, him and his mama, we're going to see the world together. So he'll kind of get a bit of it too. But I think having the home base be a more slow pace. Damn, I'm rhyming all the time. Anyway,
See, you're doing it.
I think it is important, because I was in LA and like, I'm just not I went from being a nobody, I fucking hate that term, in LA, to then being like this very recognizable, famous person, which I also hate to say. And it's funny because I'd never forget when I got to LA, I'd walk in a room at some shindig, which I was panicking, with anxiety in the corner. And then somebody would be like, so what do you do? And they're like Googling me. And then, I have like 1,000 followers on Twitter or something like that. And I'm nothing to these people. And then you come back years later and you're the shit. And I'm like, I remember you. Fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't say that. I think it. And I shake their hand and I go, and I get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that aspect of everything is like what do you do? Where you from? Who do you work with? What's this? What's that? Everything's about money. And I just have never been that way personally. And I'm not judging these people. If it makes you happy to, fuck each other and, just suck each other off all day about shit that's unimportant, at least to me, then so be it, But me, I'd rather have a conversation about chess or, talk about
nollie flips.
Nollie flips, man. Yeah,
shooting guns.
So when you did that nollie flip on the kid's skateboard in LA a couple weeks before you moved to Montana, did you get it on the first try?
Of course not.
Those kids had to stand there for hours.
That's so great.
Yeah, they stood there for hours. But I will say they had a shit ass board.
Right.
The board was so annoying. And I think no, that wasn't that day. Because I keep a bunch of decks and I've been forgetting to do it out here in Montana where you rarely see skaters. But I would keep decks in my car and just give them away if I ever saw skaters, which was really
cool.
fun.
Do you have any skateboard sponsors?
Did I?
Do you?
Like like right now?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Steve has something he wants to ask you.
Well, I just turned myself pro by starting my own skateboard company called Yeah Dude Skateboards. But I haven't put together a team yet. But I was thinking about having like a funny team of like celebrities you wouldn't know were skaters and them having boards,
Yeah, if there's ever an opening slot, just cut the check. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, wait.
that would be super fun.
I think it's all about just getting together with people and skating.
It'd be fun.
See what's going on. But yeah, fuck, man. So
what's your best trick? Sorry to interrupt.
It's all good, man. It's all good. My best trick, historically, my best trick has been 360 double flips. But I never could do nollie flips. So,
I don't know. Something was really weird because I'm goofy and I'm right-handed, but I was always good at nollie flips and like switch. My best trick is a switch frontside flip off a loading dock.
Well, there
I'll
you go.
never forget it. That's my best. That's my best trick.
I'm not doing shit off a loading dock.
But you're comfortable on coffee tables, which is kind of unique.
Yeah, I got the tray dub on the coffee table.
Haven't you like broken coffee tables that were made of glass?
I have. I have indeed. So when you did that nollie flip, you pulled your car. But what kind of car were you driving? Is that a dick question?
What was I in? I think I was in my Tesla.
Oh, okay. He's been checking out.
I've been test driving Teslas.
You've been test driving.
I've been test driving, and I ordered one for $100 to like get the thing going.
What do you mean?
You know how you like go on the Tesla website? Yeah, he knows. Maybe you can explain it better.
You have to basically like create your Tesla on an app, which is pretty amazing. And a majority of them already exist, and then you just have to find like where they are and stuff. But I got the Model X. Here's the thing. I was like low key, like fuck Tesla. I was like, I don't want to drive. Like I have a 1967 Bronco, but you know what I mean? Like I love a machine. And besides that, it was always like work cars. I never gave a shit about cars. I wasn't really a car guy. And I got in this Tesla because my dude, I have this guy in LA. His name's Aaron. And he's really amazing. And he's basically anything I need for cars, I call this guy. And he's always telling me, he goes, Bobby, let me just have the Tesla people come by and drop a few Teslas off and you can just drive them for a week. And I was like, no, I don't give a shit. And he's like, come on, just do it. And he's like pressing me to do it. And then I finally do it and I drive for like 10 minutes and I come back and I'm like, I'll buy it.
For sure. Dude, I went to go test drive a Tesla and they're like, okay, here's the key. Here's how it works. Now go have fun for an hour. And you just take the car out and drive around for an hour.
So you're so stoked on it?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. It's like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It's funny, like they don't care if you tried to steal it; they'll just drive it back, like remotely.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, we're getting that car back one way or another. We don't care what you do.
The craziest thing that they're telling me is that when you lease the car, so you can either lease a Y or a 3, and when you're done with it, they're going to be using it as robo taxis. So Tesla's coming out to compete with Uber. So if I buy one of those cars and I upgrade it to like the self-driving, in about 3-4 years when they become competitive with Uber, they're going to have the robo-taxi. So if I'm sitting at work or if I'm like on vacation, I can opt in to have my car be a taxi. So somebody can hail the taxi and it leaves my driveway and picks them up and Ubers them to wherever they want, and it comes back and parks itself in my driveway.
That
So
sounds like,
Skynet.
Got
it.
Yeah, exactly. Miles Dyson.
My question is, I just don't believe, like, how do you guys feel about self-driving? Because I've done the self-driving thing on like a straight road and almost died. Like, it doesn't know shit. And I feel like even though it may become advanced, I'm sure you guys have had the same shit. You ask Siri or Google fucking Maps, where to go, and then it's telling you to go on an exit that was just recently barricaded that day because they're working on something. So what's to truly stop that AI from understanding that? I mean, I don't know.
I get it.
It's weird. I mean, I think at the moment we're not there.
We're not
but I
there.
am a believer that we'll get there and it'll be a good thing once we're there. I do like it. Because so many people die in cars, like 1 million people a year die in
40,000.
cars.
Yeah, it's scary.
40,000 in America die every year, like vehicularly.
That
Only
sucks.
40,000?
Yeah.
My brother and my friend were just in the craziest car accident out here like a few months ago and almost died. Bro.
Damn.
Like it was I pulled up to the scene because my buddy was in there and he calls me and he's like, I'm covered in blood. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And they were like coming to my house. So we have to like get out and drive. And then there's just smoke and debris and ambulances. And I see my buddy and his arm is just shredded. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm like, where's my brother? Where's my brother? And I look down and my brother's just lying on the floor. And it was like the scariest thing, but luckily they're okay. But now, like, I've always been weird about drivers. That shit kind of gave me like low key PTSD like shit.
Yeah, that shit's fucked up. I wonder if you can get a DUI if you have a self-driving car. You're like, dude, I'm not driving, and you're fucking hammered in the passenger seat.
Yeah, breathalyze the car, not me.
Yeah, that's a good
pretty
question.
good. Hey, wait, what's your dog's name?
Wendy.
Oh, Wendy.
I found her
What
in
kind
the
of dog
streets of
is Wendy?
Peru. She's a South American street dog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was in Peru and I fucking met her in the streets and we've been together ever since.
You just found that dog and kept her?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I was in Peru for 3 weeks, so she followed me everywhere I went the whole time, man. And,
Even into the mountains.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Yeah, she's a beautiful dog.
She has her own merch to it. She really does.
She's the fucking shit. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Fucking, they call you Bobby?
Yeah, you call me Bobby.
Bobby?
Were you knighted or your name's Sir?
Oh, yeah, Sir Robert Bryson Hall II. My son is now the third. I was knighted by my mother's vagina. She was a very eclectic woman, so she decided to call me Sir. She was like, yeah, we have English descent. And I was like, I mean, obviously. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, she's funny. But then my dad's always like, I was the one who named you Sir. And I'm like, no, you weren't, Dad. You were like smoking crack. What are you talking about? And he always, to this day, he swears by the fact that he did it. And I was like, why'd you call me Sir? And he goes, because you're royalty. And I was like, all right, nigga.
That's great.
So is your son now Sir Bobby the Third?
Yeah, Sir Robert Bryson Hall III.
Beautiful. And
hopefully he'll name his son the fourth. And if he doesn't, no problem.
All right. Well, fucking hey, Bobby, dude. I really appreciate you doing this, man. And, I think that was entertaining as fuck, dude.
That was great.
Yeah, it was really cool talking to you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, no,
sure.
I really appreciate it. And anytime if you ever would, do me the honor of having me back, or, maybe when I'm doing my autobiography now. So maybe
Cool.
whenever the hell that comes out, we could do that.
Dude, we love it.
Just in general.
And
Okay, cool.
We gotta
yeah.
get you guys on a
Hit me
rap
up.
song together.
And
I'm serious.
we always want to check with people, like if there's anything where you're like, oh fuck, why did I say that? If there's anything that you want us to edit out, anything like that, if you're cool with it, like.
Oh, thank you.
Just
yeah, I'm
let us
pretty
know.
sure. I don't think I said anything.
The only thing that struck me is it could be like it could be weird was when you were talking about Joyner Lucas. But if you're cool with that,
Oh no, he's my buddy.
okay, cool.
Yeah, we're good friends now. I was just being honest about it. That's
Right.
my guy.
Okay. But I just, it's important to me that we don't do this to fucking cause grief for anybody or put anybody on the spot or fucking.
No, I
make anybody
appreciate that. Is this going to be in it right now? As
No,
we
no,
say
no,
this?
no, no. This is where we're after
It
we
should
say-
be.
We're actually live.
It should be, bro. It's so cool because it's like showing
Right.
that it's real. But no, I mean, I say you fucking
fuck,
keep
dude.
it.
Paul, if you want to fucking include that shit,
I always
it's
want to
cool,
include
man.
shit. Yeah, let's do it.
We never have. We always have this kind of a
But it
conversation at the end.
But dude, no, it shows how honest you guys are and how much you care, and it also shows that me and Joyner are homies. So it's not that deep, man. Thank you.
Well, then there
And
it is.
yeah, fuck yeah. So
And we
thank
send you
all.
some boards too when we got them.
Yeah, dude. I'll send you a
Yeah.
fucking Steve-O skateboard. And I followed you on Instagram too. So if you want,
Okay, I'll hit you back.
you can like message me. You go straight through.
You got it. I'm gonna. I'll hit you in 2 days when my assistant comes back because it's his birthday and I don't have social media on my phone.
All
Sick.
good, dude.
Nice.
That's
Actually, you know what? I'll text him to follow you,
okay.
and then when you see that we followed, shoot me your number and I'll text you.
Cool, man.
And I got Ace's email, so we can stay in touch that way.
All right, perfect.
Hell
Thank
yeah,
you guys
dude.
so
Yeah,
much
dude.
for being cool and asking great questions and being kind people. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
rad.
Likewise, brother. Thank you. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have learned a lot about Logic, and I, for one, am now a huge fan of his. And I'm also a huge fan of every single one of you guys that sticks around and listens to the very end of each of these podcasts. I love it, you know? It's called retention rate. And you guys who contribute to it mean a lot to me. So I'm not going to ask you to do anything. I will let you know that my Steve-O's hot sauce for your butthole is available on Amazon, and I believe that there even is next day delivery in a great many places. But I'm not going to tell you to do anything. I just want to say thank you, and I love you. We'll see you next week. Woo! Hey everybody, and welcome to an emotional wild ride with Steve-O. Can you believe that we made it to 100 episodes? I'm fighting back the tears just to think about it. And this episode really is special. I've got my sister. She was the first supporter of me in this silly career. She knows so much about me, and she's gonna serve up the juice for you. Man, and you know what? You know who's gonna really serve up a killer deal for you? It's Harry's. What's Harry's? It's what I use to shave my face, and I love it. I've just gotta have it, man. I gotta have it on my tour bus, in my little travel toiletry kit, at home, on my van. Oh, come on, dude. I don't go anywhere without Harry's. It's the best shaving products you can get, and they've got the best deal for the listeners of the Wild Ride podcast. If you go to harrys.com/Steve-O and you're a first customer, first time, then they're gonna hook you up with the starter kit. It's got the weighted ergonomic handle, the 5-blade razor, the cool travel cover, the foaming shave gel with aloe. That starter kit is a $13 value, and they're going to give it to you for just $3 if you go to harrys.com/Steve-O. I love it. I've been using them for years. Even for, almost 2 years before they got in business with me. I'm a proud customer of Harry's, and I want you to be too. So go to harrys.com/Steve-O. Now, let's get into it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Cindy Wynn. All right, well, I'm going to keep that in. Ladies and gentlemen, my sister, Cynthia Claire Glover.
Oh, fuck no.
Cindy Wynn.
Cindy. It's funny. The first thing I said at work is it's not Cynthia, it's Cindy. I only get called Cynthia when I'm in trouble. It started with Mom. Cynthia Claire Glover, you get down here right this minute, which I didn't hear very often, and so it was very, very distressing. Or when you get pulled over, Cynthia Claire Glover, do you know how fast you were going? So that's my I'm in trouble name. Like
Okay.
when everything is good, I'm Cindy. So let's just start right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Cindy.
names that we don't like, my middle
Oh, Stephen
name.
Gilchrist Glover.
My middle name is Gilchrist, and
It's very English of you.
right, it was my grandfather's middle name. But at some point, I want to say I was like, well, how old would I have been? Like 7 or 8?
Maybe a tad younger because it was Connecticut.
And Cindy started calling me Gilly. And like she said, "Hey Gilly," and I don't even know why, but I was so upset about that, and because I was upset, Cindy would hammer it a little harder.
Yeah.
Not that Cindy
I
was
had so few
particularly-
levers that when I found one.
Not that Cindy was particularly mean, but that's probably the meanest you ever were.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
good.
good.
Yeah, that's great.
Gilly, Gilly, Gilly.
And then later, when you were about 12 and I was 15, it became apparent that at some point in the not very distant future, you were going to physically get bigger than me. And my days of being able to sit on you and beat you up if needed were numbered. So I was going to need the psychological advantage since the physical edge was rapidly evaporating. And I think that's probably about the time I started calling you Squirt, which you didn't mind. And it became your tag. You spray painted it
Yeah.
on the side of the building at the University of Miami and put it on your skateboards and, and I still call you Squirt. And to my
Yep.
kids, sometimes you're Uncle Squirt. But that replaced Gilly.
I was going to say they got to see their Uncle Squirt last night.
Oh, my finest parenting moment.
Man, bravo. Yeah, last night I was mortified. Well, I mean, whatever. I wasn't mortified. But it was definitely like there was sensitivity to the fact that my sister was watching footage of me ejaculating on camera.
What about your
Well,
niece?
I had seen it
My
before,
niece,
but
that's
I shielded Cass for 2 decades. But she's 20, and last night she, both at the premiere and last night, she saw rather a lot of her uncle's penis. That,
Yeah, I was sitting next to Cindy when they put the bees on your dick. And they were like, oh no.
yeah. The bucket list sure is a little bit more aggressive than Jackass. But yeah, so I mean, like what to talk about? I mean, there's so much. I want to thank you, as I always have, for being the earliest supporter of my choice to try to become a professional idiot. Like, really, Cindy was behind me before anybody else was.
When was that choice made?
I made that choice officially in 1993 when I dropped out of the University of Miami. I was couch surfing for 3 years and ended up moving in with my sister in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she was behind me.
But
And
what was the choice to become a professional idiot?
I was trying to become a famous stuntman by videotaping idiotic stunts with my home video camera. And there was no precedent for that. Cindy was a supporter. She let me live in her house, and she found out about. Tell a little bit about how you feel about the way I tell the story of you taking a dump in is that accurate? It is.
So in Albuquerque, I was the City Hall reporter, and we had a little bureau downtown separate from the main City Hall, the main newspaper office. And there were 5 of us in this downtown burew.
At the Albuquerque Tribune.
Albuquerque Journal.
Oh, the Albuquerque Journal.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Tribune was the enemy. That was the rival. But we had this bathroom, and one of the reporters there had put like a little table with some flowers in it, and it was pretty cozy because there were just 5 of us in this office, and we had like an lounging chair and a couple of other things, and there were some magazines, and there was a trivia book in the bathroom. And this was before cell phones. This would have been 1995, probably.
96. I moved
96. Okay. So cell phones weren't really, a thing. You didn't take your phone into the bathroom with you.
And it actually would have been, I moved to Albuquerque in 96, but this would have been 97.
Okay. So, in the era before cell phones, if you were planning on spending more than just a couple of seconds in the bathroom, you might pick up whatever was lying around. And so I often would read some of the trivia things, just passing time. And one of the little items was what is, one of the only universities or colleges in the country that doesn't have any tuition. And is statistically harder to get into than Harvard. Or maybe that's something you came up with later, but... and it was the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College in Sarasota that had auditions, throughout the year for each class, and then didn't charge any tuition. And I thought, Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College, that could be a way to legitimize that could be awesome. Because at the time, you had signed up, you'd been in and out of school, but I'd encouraged you to sign up at UNM, and you took a gymnastics class.
Yeah.
And that was and you really wanted the standing backflip, and you worked really hard on it, and you got it. And you'd always done a couple of bar tricks for beer, because, but you went to we found out that, I did some research, I found out that there were auditions coming up, and...
Yeah.
You tell the story better than I do.
Well, I remember. It was the very same day you took the dump.
It all started when
Yeah, when my sister was taking a dump. And I came home from school. I was in university, and I came home. There was a note on the kitchen table. It said, Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College. Apparently tuition is free if you can get in. And I still saved that note. I still have it. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, this is cool. And I called up the phone number, and I think it was just a voicemail that said, I was getting ready to tell him, how I'm a rad stuntman. And it was just a voicemail saying, if you want an audition schedule, then leave your address. And so I left the address and didn't think about it too much. And then when the audition schedule came in the mail, I wasn't home. I was on Ryan Simonetti floor barfing all over his carpet, with alcohol poisoning.
I've seen the footage, I think, of that.
Yeah, the one where I'm at the top of the stairs. And so I was very hungover when I came home to find this piece of mail from me with the audition schedule. And I looked down it, and it said, Albuquerque... for the class of 1998, there's a cutoff line. I saw Albuquerque, so it's not until next year, so whatever. And I just was hungover, and I just put it back down. I went to go smoke pot at my buddy's house. And then when I came home, I walked in, and Cindy was very stern. She says, how are you getting to Denver by Monday? She insisted.
Yeah.
Why? Because you were such a good roommate?
Because above the line, there was an audition for... college in Denver.
Were you before that the type of guy to say that? Because I feel like nowadays you would have been like, they're not coming to Albuquerque for another year, so I'm going to go to Denver, or I'm going to figure out how to do it sooner. You wouldn't be just like, I'll just wait then. Were you that type of guy? And is Cindy kind of when he said to you, I want to be a crazy stuntman, were you kind of well, okay, you're going to have to fucking make some shit happen here. You got to get some skills or something? Was it kind of a... You know what I'm saying?
Our dad, in his youth, sold encyclopedias or something, and he raised us. There were a couple of quirks in how we were raised. It might not be everybody's experience. And one of the things that he learned that he passed on to us is that no is a request for further information. No just means they obviously didn't understand the first time, so you need to rephrase.
I love it.
That was one of the things we learned. So the other thing is, it doesn't really matter what you're going to do, but if you're going to do it, rock. Go balls out. Really do it hard. We don't really half-ass anything. If you're going to be a sucker who loves animals, fucking adopt a bajillion of them,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, do it well. Because doing anything half-assed is just offensive.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
So when Steve came to you and was like, I want to be this famous stuntman, I knew you were supportive, but the sort of, what was
so
your
what are you
reaction?
going to do? Yeah.
Right.
If that's what you want, okay, cool. What are we going to do about it?
Right.
How can I help you? Because that was, that was always.
Yeah, I remember one of the first things when we moved to Albuquerque, I had just dialed in the standing backflip. And I had taken to rubbing alcohol on my skin and lighting it and using it in my hand as a fire-breathing torch. So once I was rubbing alcohol on my skin and lighting it on fire, I decided, oh man, I'm going big. I'm going to pour rubbing alcohol all over my entire body and light my whole body on fire and then do a standing backflip. I smeared Vaseline all over to try to make it a little bit safer. And I chose for my first time doing this stunt, which I pictured being a pretty big one, when the radio station announced that they were holding a Freak of Nature contest. So I called up the radio station and said, I'm going to douse my entire body with rubbing alcohol, light it all, my whole body on fire, do a standing backflip. And I guess the 90s were a different time in Albuquerque because they were like, right on, you're in.
Yeah.
Right
Done.
on, you're in, done. And my sister was there holding the wet blanket to wrap around me to put me out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I've also seen footage. I'm pretty sure it's you filming. Cindy comes in, wakes you up, and is like, walks you outside, and you just do a backflip in the front yard. It's like, it felt like this is kind of like a ritual of like, wake me up in the morning, I'll just do a backflip first thing or something like that.
Because a backflip in and of itself, just a backflip on its own was kind of like whatever. And so I was just looking for ways to make it cooler. So like light my whole body on fire. And I thought, what if I said, Cindy, come in, before I'm awake, film me sleeping, wake me up and say, okay, do a backflip. And, I should do something with that footage. I had my teeth all broken and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my sister. Nobody else was stoked to help me.
And then after clown college too, you were doing a bunch of clown tricks. There's an hour of footage where you're trying to get this one trick right, and you're okay, you hear you just being so supportive, but also just sitting there the whole time filming it is a task,
Yeah, and because Cindy was so instrumental, so without Cindy's support, I never would have gone to clown college. Who knows? I probably would have gotten somewhere, but Cindy was in my corner, and I'm just forever grateful for that. Yeah, I really, really, genuinely am forever grateful for that.
I'm just so proud of you. Seriously, for years, we knew there were only 3 options. You were going to be famous, incarcerated, or dead. Nothing else was even on the table. There was never going to be a straight job where you wear a tie and sit at a desk. That was not going to happen. Incarceration was a distinct possibility, as we know from all of the mugshots that we've tried to track down over the years.
A couple times, yeah.
Here and there. You did not protect your life as well as I would have liked. But, certainly post-sobriety, I still have that pit in my stomach for worrying about you, and that's, just hasn't gone away. And we have our deal where you don't tell me about the really scary stuff until after you've survived it, and I'm grateful. We started that when you were the spokesman for snowshoes, and you were going to get the alligator to chomp your foot wearing the skate shoe. The burden of knowing that was going to happen.
It was a small alligator.
Whatever.
It's not a bad idea, dude.
I did it. Yeah, they're with my snowshoes,
Yeah.
it's a darn good shoe.
But yeah, we've had each other's backs since we were tiny. I often joke, I'm a glover, not a fighter. But the very first fight I ever got into was defending Steve. He was about 5, I was about 8, and this overweight 11-year-old kid in our neighborhood was smearing snow in his face. And I don't know if you remember this. This was in Connecticut. It was winter. The kid was a bully. I'm sure he has a tragic backstory that I was unaware of at the time. His name was Jeffrey. But he was making fun of you and smearing snow in your face. You were 5. He was 11. And I gave him a bloody nose.
Nice.
And he didn't mess with you again. But we moved around a lot. And, I think when that happens, you're always the new kid. So you became like the show off and class clown, and I just found the smart kids. Like, where are my people? But we only had each other as playmates. You know, it wasn't like eventually you would have your friends and I would have my friends. But every couple of years there would be this starting over, and it was just us. And
we recently had, like, what for me was a really intense experience. I was sitting down with a writer from GQ who was writing a story for the GQ website on me. And I was trying to articulate to him how intense the alcoholism on our mom's side of the family was. And I was like, I was getting ready to tell him the story as I understood it, but I was like, you know, let me call up Cindy and see. So I got Cindy on the phone. I had her on speakerphone. The reporter has his tape recorder out. And I'm like, Cindy, like, am I right in remembering that our grandma's second husband died in her apartment, and like she sat there and drank with the body until she was like out of alcohol, and then like dealt with the situation? Cindy had said, no, I do not believe that's the case. But what was really just a call about that one quick question turned into like a half an hour like of just being on the speakerphone with the reporter wrote about it in the story, saying he felt like he was eavesdropping, but then he thought like, well, hold on a second, this fucking asshole, like,
he knew I was here.
Yeah. Like, he wrote that really masterfully well too. But I was saying to Cindy that she did everything right when we were kids. I did everything wrong. That I was just like a fuck up, and like, you know, and Cindy said, Cindy told the story about when our mom suffered an aneurysm and how, and it was just like, it kind of shocked my system. You know, she described me in a way that, tell the story. It was,
I mean, let's just start with you being the fuck up. Like, that is just not at all how I remember it. Ever. But when we were growing up, Mom and Dad used to have a lot of like dinner parties and stuff. And I guess because they were bored or whatever.
I think the word is bawling.
Having your kids perform tricks to entertain your guests is apparently like was a thing. And so and Dad being a businessman, you know, he would give Steve $1 to do 100 push-ups.
And I don't think they were like they were. I don't know what. I wish there was video of that happening, because. And
I would get $1 to either sing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" from Evita, or "Tomorrow" from Annie. Sometimes if they were all in the backyard where we had a pool, you know, I'd get $1 for 100 laps. Whatever it was. I mean, this was entertainment. You remember this, right?
Oh, I absolutely remember.
Yeah. But we were certainly, like, growing up, your athleticism, like, Dad and Mom and Dad actually went to your Little League games. They didn't really go to any of my gymnastics
I was not.
meets later.
I was not a particularly good athlete.
Didn't matter. You were an enthusiastic athlete. And you guys had that bonding. Like, as a family, we went to some Miami Dolphins games, and I always brought my Nancy Drew book. And so they'd be like watching the game, and Mom and Dad would place bets with Ted Toby Ferrani. I want to put a nickel on whatever. It was all by phone back in the day. And there was a code. I just remember it was Ted Toby Ferrani. I guess Toby referred Ted to the bookie Ronnie, and you'd put a nickel or a dime, like 500 or 1,000 on whatever game. And I had learned about the point spread, but you guys had that.
Our parents had like 4 fucking TVs set up in the living room because they had to be watching all 4 games because they were betting on all 4 games.
I mean,
they were gnarly.
They're bettors too.
They weren't.
They absolutely. I mean, they weren't like gambling.
Definitely not gambling addicts, but it
Just
was
kind of made it more fun.
But yeah, I mean, but back
This is
in
how
the
people
day-
entertained themselves.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like life was a little different before Netflix and chill, or before internet.
Well, people
and
still
stuff.
gamble on games. I think a good amount. Does
But,
your dad
uh,
still gamble on sports?
I don't think Dad. Maybe he does. Maybe he does.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe at the football games, Cindy's reading her Nancy Drew books, and I got the binoculars just looking at the cheerleaders.
I was, people. There's that joke where people say, I'm like a football widow or whatever. I was a football orphan. Like my parents and my brother had this thing that I just kind of wasn't a part of. I was along for the ride. So you were, it was almost like in that show Matilda, where they're like, "What's wrong with her? Why can't you get with the program?" But it's funny because I was a teacher for 10 years, career 2.0. And I remember saying, my C students, my A students are going to be working for my C students, because the A students, they get told to do something unreasonable or whatever, and they just like knuckle down and grind it through and get it done. And the C students are like, what the fuck is this? I'm not doing that. My time is way more valuable than this.
Wow,
I
that's
got
a
to
good
find somebody to
point.
do it for me, or how can I like half-ass it or cheat or game the system or just do the bare minimum so that I can get back to what I really want to do. And growing up, you were the C student, and there I was like sweating bullets doing what I was told to be a good girl. And Steve, totally from the get-go, you could see, first of all, he wasn't going to be working a straight job with the suit and tie, but also you were not going to be the grunt, grinding away at somebody else's direction. The whole management potential was there from the get-go. We had a couple of fruit trees in our backyard in Miami, and Dad, at one point I'd asked for a raise in my allowance, and Dad pointed to the backyard and he said, "See those? That's the money tree." Because it would get inconvenient when they were dropping fruit. And so I used to take Steve around with me, and we'd knock on the doors, and he was younger and cuter. So I would make him say, it's like 3 lemons for $0.25, or 3 avocados for $1, whatever it was at the time. I'm sure it was less, but he was younger and cuter. But so first of all, I don't think you were always a fuck up. Even though you did get in trouble a lot more than I did, but you didn't care. So it was, for me, if they said, "I'm disappointed in you," I was like crushed. For you, you're like, all right, that's your choice.
Did you though have like a party phase of your life? Like,
No.
did you struggle with drinking or drugs ever?
Oh yeah.
For as much as my sister drank, she wasn't really a partier. But I'll tell you where the party is at these days. It's in my socks drawer, thanks to Stance. Because why have the boring same old thing going on all the time when you can change it up and have fun? Have your ankles and your legs dressed up like Tupac if you want. God, the creativity coming out of Stance is endless. The comfort is unmatched. And it's just so much fun having different pairs of socks for different occasions, man. I'm telling you. Plus, it's not just socks anymore. They're killing it so much, they're spreading into sweatpants, joggers, shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. And I'm telling you, you gotta get in on this, man. It's at stance.com, and if you use the promo code STEVO, you're gonna get 15% off your first order. Do yourself a favor and go to stance.com just to see how crazy the variety of creative options is. You're gonna fall in love with so many of their designs, and you'll be so glad to have 15% off your order at stance.com if you use the promo code STEVO at checkout. Your feet are gonna love the way you feel, and everyone's gonna be blown away by how dope you are. So, stance.com, promo code STEVO. Now, let's talk about drinking.
Definitely. But I consider myself 15 years smarter than Steve, because I got sober for the first time at age 19.
Wow.
Sober before I got legal. And Steve didn't really, get the message till he was 34.
So you were
So
drinking
that makes-
like so much in high school, you're like, and you quit
Cindy was
drinking at
more
19?
of like a
Closet by myself.
reclusive, secret drinker alone.
Pass out at home. Yeah. It was not a bar scene kind of drinking,
Right.
but it was
Cindy was not a
definitely.
slut.
But no, back to your point. Back to your point about like, no, I was not.
I believe you.
Steve did enough of that for both of us. Steve did enough of that for both of us. But when our mom first had her brain hemorrhage, we got the call. I want to say it was like 6:45 on a Saturday morning. And it was her ex-husband who she had been reconciling with. And the message was she'd had a brain hemorrhage. She was in intensive care. She might not survive the night. Get down here, stat. We were in Albuquerque. She was in Boca Raton, Florida. Steve had been partying the night before and had crashed where he landed. I called all of his bros and had them like hunt him down. And then I
was in bed with a stripper and there was a knock at the window. And it was my buddy Ron Burns. He's like, you got to go.
Nice. Meanwhile, while his skate buddies were tracking him down, I was booking flights, arranging for my little sister in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program to watch my dogs because I had 2 dogs, and telling work I was going to be out, and we were at the airport by 8:15, and on a flight. But the way it has always worked in a crisis is I get very wrapped up in the doing and researching. Mm-hmm. As long as my brain is working or my hands are working, I'm okay. Once we got on the plane, the reality of, oh my God, our mom, who is 51, might die. And there was like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours from Albuquerque to West Palm Beach, where there was just nothing to do. And that's when I fell apart. And Steve put his arm around me and he was okay. Like he totally took over on the plane, and he was the comforting, calming, presence, and I was the wreck whose brain was spinning in a million directions with all of the what ifs and the regrets and the fear and the anxiety and all of that. And then the plane landed and we switched roles again. And, I'm getting us from the airport to the car rental, and getting us into the car and calling the hospital and getting the status updates and stuff like that. And we got to the hospital and we had rushed so hard to arrive. And then once you arrive and we saw her and she was all hooked up and it was horrifying.
The most disturbing sight I've ever seen was this expression on Mom's face when we first got to her in her hospital bed. It haunts me to this day.
She was almost exactly my age when this happened. We just recently passed the milestone where she was 51 and 4 months when she had her brain hemorrhage. I am now 51 and 5 months old.
Wow.
And it feels so weird. Like I am now having more, like I've passed the amount of active time that she got. Mm-hmm. Like she lived another 5 years, but in a greatly incapacitated way. So I'm now kind of older than she was, which is weird. And I still don't feel nearly as grown up as Mom and Dad always seemed. I don't know. Right.
Yeah, but I always heard Steve talk about your mommy. Besides the parties and the family, the dinners and all that, what kind of person was she? I mean, I don't know too much about her.
Dad was so successful and like this super driven, motivated businessman, and really like good at life, but he wasn't good at like
social people. He's emotionally defective.
He's just a fucking straight CEO.
He's a robot. We love our robot, but like emotionally, he's missing a few like lines of programming or code because he has always needed people to explain, chalkboard and pointer style, but. That diverges from the story.
Right. But we maintain that Mom was way smarter than Dad, way funnier than Dad, and way cooler.
But also, kind of fragile in her way, but definitely smarter, cooler, more social. But
better
when we
looking.
I don't know. When we got back to the hotel, or to the hospital, and Mom was there and she was all hooked up. We were allowed to see her very briefly, but ICU there are a lot of rules. And we went out to the waiting room and I was just like sitting and waiting not my strong suit. We had visited Mom a few months earlier, and she had bought a computer that was still in the box at her house that had not been plugged in yet. And so that first night, we negotiated that Steve was going to stay and sleep on the floor of the hospital waiting room, and I was going to go back to Mom's house, plug in the computer, and start researching everything there was to know. 10 years of the Journal of the American Medical Association, the Neurological Association, the state of the art for, the Guglielmi coiling procedures and transcranial Doppler radar, and what we needed, where were the centers of excellence for a brain hemorrhage, a subarachnoid hemorrhage, and all of that. And so I spent all night reading medical journals and reaching out to anybody I knew, including our dad, who might have, who played golf with doctors, who might have connections. And Steve held down the fort. And of course, because we're Glovers, we've never met a crisis we can't sleep through. When the going gets tough, the tough take naps. It's a family saying.
That's still true for Steve.
Naps for the win.
I didn't realize
naps
that,
are survival. We nap like champs.
Yeah.
But Steve, stayed there.
Sleepo.
I could not have left and done all of that research if he hadn't been able to stay. And then we transferred her, we made decisions, and even though I was on all of the paperwork as the official decision maker, the durable power of attorney and all of that, because having only 2 children, she chose the slightly more responsible one, the older, slightly more responsible one to put down on the list. But we had a deal. We could tune out the entire world. Her sister was saying, pull the plug, pull the plug. I'm like, no, that's just not a decision that was ever to be made, because there was brain activity. But we could tune out all the noise as long as we could look at each other and look in the mirror and be okay with whatever we were deciding. And we were making big, scary decisions.
Well, right, because she was in Boca Raton, and the Boca Raton hospital did not have the capability to do the procedure that would have been required to save her. They said, however, to get her to Miami, where they can do the procedure that could save her, she might not survive the ride. So
it was against medical advice. There was a very arrogant doctor who was the first one who said that he didn't recommend doing surgery, that you just, let nature take its course, or let whatever was going to happen. I had asked him about all of these state-of-the-art, the Guglielmi coiling procedure and all of that, and if they had a transcranial Doppler to monitor the pressure in her brain. And he said, I went to medical school so you wouldn't have to. And he said, if you decide to transport her by ambulance to Miami, to Jackson Memorial Medical Center, affiliated with the University of Miami, where they could do, the top-notch surgeons could do this, it's on you if she dies.
Why? Because the bumping in the car ride over there might do something with.
Yeah, the guy was a cocksucker, and we were.
We looked at each other, and we've always kind of said in our family that if there is a chance at quality of life, if there's a guarantee of low quality of life, but you'll go for a long time, or you can take a risk, but it might actually greatly improve things, we've always said, take the risk.
Yeah, the ambulance ride was a no-brainer.
It was not a no-brainer at the time. But I could not have made that decision that might have killed her, but might have saved her, if we hadn't done it together.
Right.
Not a no-brainer, but it was the decision.
It's what we knew she would have wanted, but we made it together, which is what was okay. And then days, she survived, but there were complications. Days turned into months.
She had how many brain surgeries?
2 brain surgeries, but she was on a ventilator for 4 months, and then she was weaned off the ventilator, and then she was released to my care, which is a whole nother story. But while she was in this nursing home, she went from the ICU to the regular hospital to the hospital that specializes in ventilators, Vencor, where to get weaned off of the ventilator, and then to a nursing home, and then home. So there were a few step-down phases. In the nursing home, or maybe it was the ventilator hospital, there was this nurse who was really rough changing Mom's diaper. She had a catheter, a feeding tube. She was in bed. They tend to keep patients sedated when they're on the ventilator so they don't fight with it.
Yeah.
And this woman, I wanted to rip her throat out. I wanted to stab her eyes. I may be a Glover, not a fighter, but I just, she was manhandling my mom like a sack of potatoes. And I wanted her fired. I wanted to, destroy her. I was so emotional and angry and protective, and here's my helpless mom, and I am in charge. I am her protector, and this woman is just rolling her over, and like she is some sort of sack of grain. And Steve was with me, and I was ready to just go off, and he said, "Oh no, Sins, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to rat out this nurse who probably doesn't give a shit, and she's going to get really pissed and resentful, and the minute we're gone, she's going to take it out on Mom. Let me handle it." Wow. And this is where Steve's schmoozy, teachers who were always saying,
he's like, "I'll show her a backflip. She's gonna love it."
Steve just always kind of charmed his way out of trouble. I mean, even in jail, where being as adorable as you are, you certainly could have had a negative experience, but instead you entertained everybody and became their, best bro and the most interesting. You've just always had people skills that I might have lacked. And so you charmed that nurse. You talked to her. You found out about her family, about, you thanked her. Damned if you didn't become her BFF and we brought her some chocolates or something, or brought the whole nursing staff chocolates so that Mom would get, treated really nicely, because
smart.
He totally, his diplomacy was so superior to my grizzly bear protective, role reversal, mama bear cub kind of thing. And that happened, a few different times. But between the two of us, there came a time after Mom was released home to my care where I was pretty good at, hiring the nurses' aides and managing her medication schedule and her appointments and all of the daily care and the feedings and how many calories were going to go in, and getting the wheelchair van and the ramp for the house, because there were a couple of little step up, step down situations. And Steve was just not good at any of that, all of that adulting stuff.
Sure.
But he was super supportive of me, for sure. And at some point it was look, we don't both have to be here. This doesn't have to clip both of our wings. I'm good. I'd gotten a job at the newspaper, and we'd moved officially into her house. And there was a cruise ship opportunity out of Miami.
Right. I mean, I was pretty clear that I wasn't going to add any value by just being a loser and eating the food.
You were never a loser, though. You made her laugh. When you got shit and fuck tattooed on your knuckles and stuff.
The last time she ever laughed.
I don't think that's necessary.
She was in that was at the end.
Okay.
It was October of 2003 when I got shit and fuck tattooed on my knuckles. But I flew home and she was in bed with the do not resuscitate order, and it was the end.
Did your mom ever see you on TV?
No, Jackass had been picked up.
No, 1998. Mom's aneurysm was October 10th of 1998.
But she passed away on November 7th of 2003. And by 2003, Cassie had been born, a Jackass.
Well, for sure, but mom was never,
she was less coherent by the time Jackass came out.
She was. It was after her aneurysm.
Yeah.
That all that happened.
Yeah,
and before, I would show my mom. Yeah, before her aneurysm, I would show her my stunt videos and stuff, and she was just she was never once concerned, for my safety. It wasn't oh my God, you're gonna get hurt, but she was just how is there money in this? How is there money? That was her only concern. It was that she's just show me the money, where's the you don't have a pot to piss in, I'm not impressed by your stupid fucking VHS tape because you're broke and you're sleeping in my fucking house and you have no money and like you're a slob and you have bad breath. You know?
Ouch! No. That is
Cindy,
just.
would she have said that or
No, I
what?
mean, no, she wouldn't have
Okay,
said all
she
that.
totally would say, don't be a loser. Don't be, don't end up.
She saw that Tom Cruise, Jerry Maguire, and that was her thing. Show me the money.
Show me the money. Yeah.
But growing up, like it was always, I was more like dad. You were more like mom. And in some ways, we grew up with different parents. Like we're only 3.5 years apart in age, but their marriage kind of falling apart happened when you were in high school, after I had already moved out.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, they were super strict. And, there's also sexism involved, daughter versus son. But from my grades to my curfews and all of that, everything was very like uptight and strict. And by the time Steve hit high school, Dad was away a lot, and we discovered later why. And Mom would liked to get into the liquor. She would kind of check out while he was gone, and then clean up a little when he came back. Before he came back. Mm-hmm. But Steve was ready, able to run buck wild, completely unsupervised.
I was going full Pippi Longstocking.
And that was in
Street
London.
child.
That was England?
Yeah.
So in that respect, we grew up with different parents. But Mom, like, you smoked weed with Mom.
I did smoke weed.
And you drank with Mom. And I never did either of those things. And you used to tell dirty jokes, like the one about the Cheetos.
When I smoked weed with Mom, like she was drunk at the time, and like I don't remember that fondly. I was just like, here, she was drunk, and I was like, here, Mom, here's a joint. She was like, like it wasn't rad. Like there was nothing cool about that. And like because Mom was that way, she really cared about how we would reflect on her.
Appearances mattered a lot. Like we always cleaned up the house before guests came.
We're gonna have company, not like friends are coming. We're gonna have company. It was like an
so put
official
on a nice
word.
shirt and comb your hair.
Elbows off the table.
Right, and when they had company, meaning like they're like
showing off for their friends.
They would have these like dinner parties. Their friends would come over, and it would just be a brag fest. It would just be like we just bought this, or like we just have this, or our kid just got into this university, and it was just a fucking.
As a kid, were you able to realize like this is kind of weird?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It was just an obnoxious pissing match.
Is that why you don't like you don't want to buy a fucking Ferrari or something right now?
You hate flashiness.
I think so.
You're not flashy at all.
I don't like flashiness, and as I grew up, Cindy moved out of the house when I was 12. And
I did not.
Yeah,
that'd be you 15.
I was not 15.
You went to boarding school
when I was 16. I was a year. I graduated from high school at 17, so it was 16 to 17.
Okay, 7th grade is when you're 12, and my birthday's in June. So like the tail.
I think it was 8th grade, but
no,
okay.
I was in 7th
because
grade.
I was a day student at Havergal when you were at Bayview Glen.
Okay, doesn't matter. But our house got bigger and bigger as we grew up. Mm-hmm. Dad became more and more successful as we grew up, and the house got bigger, and I was like embarrassed of the house. I might have felt uncomfortable about the way my house got bigger as I grew up, but I am not uncomfortable about the way my wiener gets bigger and harder when I use Blue Chew tablets. I said it, okay? If I'm getting ready to take Lux to Bone Town, then about a half an hour beforehand, you know it, I'm chewing up a Blue Chew tablet. Why? Because it's delicious. It's got the same active ingredient as both Viagra and Cialis, except it only costs a fraction of the price. And when we're ready to go to Bone Town, man, my Blue Chew tablets make it count. So much fun. If you've ever wondered whether or not trying Blue Chew tablets is fun. I can assure you it is. Lux loves it so much, sometimes she'll leave one out on the table. On a plate, she'll say, honey, I made you dinner. I'll come upstairs and see a Blue Chew tablet, and I know it's going down. Yeah, man, but maybe you're wondering, don't I need a prescription for that? Well, yeah. But you don't have to go to the doctor's office for some awkward in-person visit. Hell no. You go to bluechew.com and you consult with one of their medical providers right there on the site. Super fast, super easy, and when you use the promo code STEVO, get this. They will send you an entire month's supply of Blue Chew tablets for free. All you got to pay is $5 for shipping. So, yeah, I'm telling you, it's a blast. It's easy. And it's free. All you got to pay is $5 for shipping. What are you waiting for? Get over to bluechew.com. Use the promo code STEVO. Watch your wiener get bigger and harder. And use it for good. Yeah, dude. Bluechew.com. Now, let's get back to the house. And in high school, if I overslept or just was running late in the morning and wasn't in time to skateboard to school, I would be forced to catch a ride with Dad in his chauffeur-driven car, and Dad would be in the back seat of his car with his chauffeur driving him, reading his newspaper, and I would ride shotgun. And then when we pulled up to the school and I got out, I would hug the driver because I didn't want anybody knowing I'd been chauffeur driven to school.
Wow.
I would just hug the driver and be like, yeah, and I wouldn't even acknowledge it. I'd just hug the driver and get out and I'd want them to drop me off like a little further down the block.
Uh-huh.
And I was always looking to be, from a pretty young age, like I didn't like having kids over to our house because I just didn't want people to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mom didn't want kids over.
Right.
It was... In my parenting life, my house is the house that every teenager within about 5 miles just migrates to. And it's an open door. We had a fingerprint lock for a long time, and there were about 20 different fingers on in the fingerprint lock. It's totally the house in the neighborhood that all the kids hang out at. But when we were growing up, partly because of Mom's drinking and her, image sensitivity and what the kids might say to their parents or whatever, it was very, we didn't have people over. And if you asked to have a sleepover, it was a big deal because Mom would be weighing oh, crap, okay, I'm going to have to cook dinner. I'm going to have to, tidy up.
There's no upside. It's all downside.
And so we just kind of knew better than to ask.
Yeah.
And I think that's really common with adult children of alcoholics where you grow up that way.
It's funny that you think of it that way because for me, I just didn't want to be at home. I was like whose house can I go to today? And it was pretty much always Abdullah's house. But the thing is that that's just very much like Mom and Dad, for better or worse. And I love my dad. I love my mom. So I'm not talking shit on anybody. But the fact is, they thought that because they had money, that made them better than people.
Look, the apple did not fall that far for either of us because although we're not materialistic in that way, we did sort of learn that lines are for losers who can't figure out a way to avoid waiting in the line. We're not like British or Canadian where we queue up. We definitely look for the angles and things like speed limits or no trespassing signs are because some people aren't as smart as we are and need to be protected from injury.
Right, those are for the dumb sheep people.
Well, for people who aren't aware of their limits, but if you actually have physical prowess or skills and you are aware of the risks and can do the cost-benefit analysis, then go proceed at your own risk. It's a suggestion. The rules and the speed limits are a suggestion that are very helpful for people who might not be as smart as we are.
For sure.
I love that. Working with Steve, he'll give me 5 things to do, and it's he doesn't give a fuck about the minutia of why or why not this person say can't. He's like, is it done yet or is it not? I figured that out.
Shady Scott's just gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
He
doesn't care the progress.
Bottom line it.
Great. When are we going?
Yeah, and that's all Dad. and the social, the charming holding court, telling stories, like that's all mom. And people think that we're so different. And in some ways we are. Like I was a high school teacher for 10 years, and I would remember for 10 years I crushed dreams. Because there was always a new kid who kind of didn't know, and they'd be like, dude, we got Glover for history. This is going to be totally rad. And then a week later, they'd be like, wow, this is not that rad. And,
do a lot of kids, like, do you have to say, like, yes, my brother is Steve-O, let's move on? Like, do you have to kind of make an announcement or something?
I'm not a teacher anymore. Like, I'm on my 4th career. But in all those years of teaching, people would, the kids who didn't really know Glover's reputation would be so stoked, like, jackass history. And then, whoa, yeah. But it's funny, there used to be this weird thing they'd do at our school, it was a private school, where they'd come back from Christmas break on a Thursday. The public schools didn't come back until Monday. And the students had class like Thursday and Friday after being off for, almost a month. And the edict from the administration was you had to teach something meaningful, even though half of the kids were going to be absent. You couldn't just, show a video. You had to do something meaningful. But there was no point in starting the new chapter because come Monday, you'd have to reteach it all. And I taught juniors and seniors. And they'd be like way too cool to show up on that stupid Thursday and Friday, And so there were a couple of years where I brought Steve in as a guest lecturer, but I didn't tell anybody. He taught my economics, a couple of sections of my economics
One time
class.
I went in with Dad.
Yeah.
Dad and I taught economics.
What years?
So you taught the curriculum? Like, that's what you went
he
in
was,
and
he was
One
a guest
day.
lecturer.
Yeah, just
and
like one-
What
so
year? Like in
this
That
would have
been
been 2007 or 2008, I think.
So you're like on ketamine going into this school?
How did you get past the
he
drug
wore,
dogs?
You wore Dad's Mirasol golf shirt, like the. But look, the funny thing is that Steve came in, and this served a couple of purposes. First of all, I was going to have him do a guest lecture about the economics of Hollywood. And second of all, this was going to kill time because half the kids were going to be absent. But on Monday morning, the kids who missed it would be like, oh, man. And, that would show them to blow off my class.
There you go.
And so Steve came in to, a slightly lower census than usual. But I had him talk about the economics of Hollywood. And so here, he's talking about legitimate, the mistakes he didn't make with his money, how Dad had taught him about all these football players who made millions and then blew it, and not how to not be that guy. But also he would talk about how he barely made any money the first season of Jackass, and the importance of having a good vocabulary and being able to read a contract that would sign away rights to to footage.
The importance of having someone read your contracts for you.
You knew, but you knew what the words "in all media in perpetuity" meant, and that was not something that you particularly wanted to sign. So having a good vocabulary comes in handy. I mean, being able to hire people comes in handy too.
Having a good lawyer comes really in handy.
Having vocabulary means that you are less likely to get ripped off, and you can read stuff even if you often choose not to. At least it'll get read. But you were smart enough to get into the University of Miami. I think you got 1250 on your SATs.
I think it was like 1190.
Okay.
But I did smoke pot immediately before.
Look, the thing is that you're more like me than most people realized, because you are intelligent, you're articulate, you follow the news, you're definitely in those sessions. They got to see that there's this persona, but when Steve's at home, he's not throwing himself off buildings and smashing his ear and stuff. It's that's the O.
He's not jacking off out of airplanes on his downtime.
I don't think so. But and then you would take a selfie with every kid in the class, and that was super cool. But you had a teacher in you, you have an ability to communicate and educate and all of that, and I think that's really cool. And you're also, I think, more like me than people realize, in that the journalism, my first career for 8 years was as a newspaper reporter, interviewing people and being a journalist. And look at you, like podcast 100.
Yeah, how about that?
You interview people.
Well, I more sit people down so that I can talk at them.
You don't dominate the conversation nearly as much as you used to.
I still do it a lot.
Every now and then you get real excited.
It just sucks because the more like excited I am, like the more I blow it.
Well, especially if you know like for Knoxville, like you know him so well, and you got all these stories you want him to tell, and so you're going to just tell it to him. But then oftentimes we have someone where you don't know them as well, like Mayim Bialik or something, and then it's like, you're just asking real questions and listening. You're great, dude. You're doing
totally
great.
take credit
You're welcome.
for your journalism chops.
Nice.
I mean, hey, I don't give myself too much credit for journalism. I've absolutely am honored and grateful for the kind words about my growth as a podcaster, and I'm touched by how big of a deal is when there are news stories like stemming from an episode of the Wildride podcast. Like that's so like you're glowing, you're beaming, you're so like, and that means the world to me. I love it.
I am so proud of you. But, it's funny because if there is a theme of this episode, it's you not realizing or like being way harder on yourself than I think you should be. Like if I could recalibrate it, you thinking you were much more of a fuck up when you were little than I think you ever were. You thinking, like mom was way harsher. You didn't hear what she was saying. I would hear what she was saying to her friends, and she was so proud of you. And God, we're all so proud of you. I mean, there was a time when if we went to McDonald's, it was just understood that I would pay. It was just, I mean, there didn't need to be any conversation or anything. And the fact, just what you have done, there was a time when you would have described yourself as lazy, and you work so incredibly hard at the things that you believe in. Like right now, you're touring, you've got the book coming out, you're doing the podcasts, you just finished doing all of the media for Jackass Forever. Your schedule is insane. And that is not like the lazy slacker pothead guy who, maybe rolls out of bed to do a backflip or,
right,
a kickflip or, something like, I guess I'll do a skate sesh, but then I'm going to need a nap. I mean, we still nap like champs, but you are.
Well, thank you for that. And one thing that really, really means so much, that like, given how much mom cared about appearances, how much she cared about wealth, like all of these things. I just think mom would have loved to have been on a red carpet at one of our Jackass movie premieres. I think she would have been so fucking funny, making fun of me. Like she would have just been roasting me for all the stuff that I was doing, but like she would also be really, really I just wish that I could have had that experience to share with mom. And I also wish that we could have gotten sober together. Like I wonder if we were in a fellowship of recovery together, if the abuse that led to the aneurysm, if mom and I were sober together, and like, God, I wish I could have had a relationship with her and us both be sober.
We did, she did string together 1 year of sobriety at one point, and she did, drop a few pearls of AA wisdom on you. But there were 5 years and 1 month between her aneurysm and when she passed away. And I believe that at age 51, when she had the aneurysm, she absolutely was not ready. But she made a decision about 4 months before she passed away. And to the extent that she was able to communicate, I don't know if you remember this, she said no more hospitals. Like she was done. She had the infection with the methicillin-resistant staph, the MRSA infection. She was getting the vancomycin, IV antibiotics that are super intense. But at one point she said no more hospitals. And she decided, like, I think that at the point a few months before she passed away, because I was already planning for another 15 years. Like, we totally didn't expect her to pass away when she did. Physically, she was pretty healthy, even though she was disabled. I thought she was going to live another 15 years. You know, we were planning for that. But I think that at the point when she made that decision, she knew I was going to be okay. Like, I had left journalism. I had was getting my teaching certificate. I had decided to become a single mom by choice. I had Cassie. She was almost 1.5 at that point. You know, between Famous, Incarcerated, or Dead, Jackass had been picked up by MTV. The first season was...
well, the first movie came out in 2002.
Right, so the first movie had happened. At that point, you were now recognizable to the point where the only place I could take you was Costco, because where the old people didn't know you, but everywhere else, it was pretty rough. Remember how much we loved going to Costco? Because you could, like, stroll around, look at electronics, and besides an employee or two, it was just not the demographic that you had to worry about. But if you lost your computer charger and I took you to the mall, all of a sudden these kids would just be like texting each other and stalking us to the food court or the elevator. We just couldn't go anywhere. But at the point that Mom decided she was done, like, she knew I was going to be okay. I had Cass. I had a new career. She knew you were going to be okay. Between, like, Famous, Incarcerated, or Dead, it looked like the needle had landed on Famous. As far as the things that she would have worried about, I think she was like, okay, they're good. They're launched. They're going to be all right. I don't have to, stick around. She made a decision, and within 3 months, that was that. We got hospice care, and we were both there, but she didn't
Hospice
leave.
care at the house.
At the house, yeah. Home hospice. But she didn't let go until she knew you were going to be okay.
And then we had her ashes sitting on the top shelf in this closet.
We had never talked about, like, we knew that as a family, we're kind of not that big on cemeteries because you're taking up, a plot of land that'll never be usable for anything else. It seemed, and it's creepy.
It's just,
the exact reason Steve hates cemeteries.
It's
so
creepy.
Funny.
It's
counterproductive. It's creepy, and it's
wasteful.
like an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
Mm-hmm.
Burial makes the whole world a cemetery.
So we knew we were going to have her. We knew we were going to have her cremated, but we didn't know what to. I didn't know what to do with it, with these ashes. Like, we didn't have like a vault or anything. And she didn't have a particular place that she loved.
Sure.
We didn't have. We've moved around so much growing up that it wasn't like we had a really special place on the globe where you could, like, put a push pin and that was like our place.
And so Dad, it had been like a number of years. The mom's ashes were just in this closet, and our dad goes to some psychic, and out of nowhere the psychic says, "Hey, your ex-wife needs to be set free or
released or something.
Released, like her ashes, like being in the like
her soul or spirit is stuck.
Needs closure." And that was just like, dude, I kind of have major goosebumps just saying that. Like, that's pretty specific, like the ashes, like to refer to the ashes. So in December of 2011, Cindy and I finally. Right,
well, by then you had started surfing.
Well, no, and. When I pissed somebody off really badly when I was in rehab in 2008. There was an older guy, and we were in some group, and I was like, I just said, for some reason in this group, I said, I never want to snort anything again in my life except maybe a line of my mom's ashes. I'm just being like, well, I don't even know what the fuck. And this old guy was like very offended by that. Well, yeah, I never actually meant to snort my mom's ashes. But in December of 2011, Cindy and I like paid for like a
charter boat
to
go out on the
and scatter her at sea.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that when
a gust of wind.
Well, yeah, it was choppy seas. It was windy as hell. I go out in the back of the bow of the boat and throw the ashes, and the wind fucking blows her ashes into my face, and I was like just happy, and I just started laughing. I was like, I just snorted my mom's ashes.
Mom would have gotten a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sort of like everybody likes the ocean. And
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the ocean.
No matter where we are, it's a place that we find spiritual. And
Right.
Steve now surfs on it regularly.
This was December of 2011. I snorted her ashes like by accident. We come back and it was just so choppy and such a nightmare, honestly. And we got back. We drove separately. I
And we
believe.
also burned her journals
Right,
from
right,
AA and her amends and inventory and stuff. Like, just kind of let her, all of that stuff go,
Let it go,
in a
that's cool.
bonfire.
And this gnarly picture she had of her mom all drunk and remember burning
Yeah,
that.
just
But as we got back to the dock, the parking lot where we went on this charter boat, I'm sure we were in separate cars and we drove back home. As we pulled away, the only time in my life that I can ever remember seeing two completely distinctly separate rainbows, like just so pronounced. And like we drove from scattering our ashes, and I was just like looking at these. They were huge, and there were
And you're
two
not saying
of them.
one double rainbow. You're
Not-
saying a rainbow here, and then over there, there's
Right.
another rainbow.
Yeah, I mean they were so distinctly separate.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I like it. It was very impactful to me. I thought, wow, like that's one rainbow for me, and it's one rainbow for Cindy, and it just so happened that the very next month, January of 2012, I went on tour to Hawaii, and like someone's like, dude, you want to go surfing? I'm like, dude, it's the last thing I want to do is go surfing. But I was like, oh, all right, and I had so much fun. I had so
You
much
caught the
fun.
bug.
And then I caught the bug. And then now, so we'd scattered mom in the ocean, and then from that point on, all I wanted to do was be in the ocean. I just fell in love with surfing. I surfed all the time. And whenever I was in the ocean and saw a rainbow, like that.
hey, Ma.
Big moment. Yeah,
Yeah, that was always like a big thing.
that's cool.
Yeah, so rainbows are my deal. Lux's thing is owls. Owls for Lux and rainbows for me.
Rainbows in the ocean.
Rainbows in the ocean are big time extra.
That big.
Yeah.
Hey, Cindy, you referenced a dirty Cheeto joke earlier, and we never got the joke. And I gotta imagine someone sitting here thinking, what's the fucking Cheeto joke?
It's funny because our mom had, just like with Steve, there's like Steve-O and then
Sure.
there's Steve.
Uh-huh.
Our mom had her like prim and proper, this is me having company
version, yeah.
And then with her friends, a couple of sips in, she loved a dirty joke. And there was
right,
some,
and her-
there was one about this.
I remember the cheater joke. I'll tell it. But
You're right, comedic.
Did that
I'm going to
overheat,
defer
Scott?
on comedic timing to Steve, but
the
this guy, he goes to the doctor.
right. And my mom and I mean everybody on my mom's side of the family, like with the exception of our generation, like from my mom's generation and older, like my mom had a brother and a sister. The three siblings are all dead and all from like cirrhosis of the liver, like
Alcohol clearly shortened their lifespans. We are seventh
and
generation
that is
alcoholics as
everybody.
far as we know. It could certainly go back farther, and
There's
it's on mom's
suicide.
side.
There's suicide.
Mental health,
There's,
yeah.
Like this alcoholism, addiction. It's
Depression,
not, it's
bipolar.
really gnarly. And mom and her sister. This was a joke in my first thing about how while I was in clown college, my cousin was in mortician school, and so that's my mom and her sister, and they were just getting hammered arguing over whose son was a bigger loser, whether it was me in clown college or her, you know.
But that's not the Cheeto joke.
Right, no, I know that, but that was it's a time when I remember them laughing because that like they were cracking themselves up, like trying to win, like they were like arguing each other, like debating, like no, come on, my son's a fucking clown, I definitely win.
Yeah, but like my son has the hots for dead bodies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, but the Cheeto joke, I mean, it wasn't necessarily that great. But the guy goes to the doctor. He's like, doctor, like I'm freaking out. My fucking dick turned orange. You know, like I'm the fucking like, you know, like, and the doctor like, you know, runs some. Says, everything is like pretty normal. You know, like there's really nothing wrong with you. Like maybe it's like work-related stress. And he says, doctor, I don't even have a job. He says, well, what do you do? He says, I just sit at home and watch porno and eat Cheetos.
Now, the reason that like, the unexpected thing is that coming out of our mom with her
Right.
hair and her manicures and her Gucci purse and her golf shirts and her, like, meticulously clean house and her Mercedes. Like, she was such a Boca babe. And yet, you know, these occasionally she, you know, would come out with an unexpected profanity or an unexpected
Yeah.
she definitely had like a naughty side to her, and,
Yeah,
she was a party girl in her 20s and before Dad.
Mom and I used to fucking crack up. We would laugh our fucking asses off, and in the face of like, you know, like we could laugh when shit was not going good.
What would she have thought of the bucket list show last night?
She's been. I think I have the toughest time with the parts where you're getting hurt. Like, I don't like the post-vasectomy hanging upside down. Like, I don't like seeing your ear bleeding. Things where you are in pain. I absolutely hate. I think she would definitely have laughed about the naughtier everything about the
piss.
intimacy. I think we all hate the urine stuff, and Mom had a little bit of germophobia. I think that, you know, having trained as a nurse, because after she graduated from high school, her dad thought college was wasted on a girl because, you know, they're just going to get married, and so he wasn't willing to pay for it, and the only thing that was free was nursing school. But with her nurse training, it was really hard for us to pretend to be sick, because she was like, no, go to school. You're fine, go to school.
Unless she was drinking. And
then she'd be like, hey, let's watch TV all day. But she definitely would be aware of, in an inflatable swimming pool full of urine that had percolated for a while, what the load of bacteria and stuff is in there. Like, that would not have been her jam at all. But of course she had been proud of you. I mean, people cheering your name, like your name on the marquee, all of those people standing in line and just like thrilled, and you making their day. Your people skills, your ability to like entertain and hold court and make people laugh definitely didn't come from Dad. You know, your business sense, your ability to hawk the merch did, but there is a direct line between your theatricality and showmanship and warmth and charisma and Mom. And of course she'd have been proud. Like, if you gotta know that in your soul and in your heart, because
for sure, I do, and I just wish that I could have shared.
I know, and part of what has driven you to be so successful, and part of what drives you to work so hard, is a bit of insecurity, and you know that's not the worst thing in the world. It moves a lot of people. I certainly have my own share of, you know, trying to get Dad's approval and stuff like that, but. You are too hard on yourself, because she was proud of you already, showed off, you know, and she was also very proud about how handsome you are.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I know she was proud about herself being attractive.
Yeah, she was very pretty from the photos.
Yeah, she really was.
Uh-huh.
Did you know? I should admit this maybe that there's a when I was in Canada doing stand up, and just about every time that I went to Canada and did stand up, I would say, "Hey guys, I'm Canadian because my mom was born in Canada. She actually went to high school with Tom Green's mom, but my mom was a way bigger slut." And I know, I'm just kidding, whatever, I'm just kidding.
Our image-conscious mom would not have been stoked on that.
I know, she'd hate it. She'd hate it, but it was clear that I was making a joke.
Yeah.
Clear that I was making a joke, and she definitely had bigger tits.
She might have mentioned if you got it, flaunt it. A couple of times.
And wasn't Mom pretty proud that the first day she went on a date with Dad, that she was like rushing from a previous date or something?
She was definitely not that stoked on him, but she gave him another chance. He grew on her.
What's so great too?
She said no.
What's so great about Mom wasn't jumping on the bandwagon of Dad's success. Like they were married.
He was a debt when they got married.
Like Dad became successful after they got together. Yeah. Like they didn't.
She was an early adopter.
I love that. I love that. And so tell us about what your new job now.
So I was a newspaper reporter for 8 years and a high school teacher for 10. I did marketing for 6.5 years, and I have just started Career 4.0 working for the city of Lakeland, Florida in the Community and Economic Development Department, doing community engagement. So,
what's the official title?
Community Engagement Coordinator.
Oh, how about that?
Community engagement, like what is that exactly? Like events and stuff? Like engaging with the community?
She bridges the gap from the community to the city.
Yes, yeah. I like it.
Maybe talking to a microphone.
She bridges the gap from the community to the city.
Yes, that
sweet.
Exactly.
I mean, when you described the job that you were applying for, it sounded perfect for you.
I have adopted a new hometown. One of the things that I'm an anomaly, I don't know, it probably skipped a generation because neither Mom nor Dad particularly cared about community stuff. Like, we just upped and moved all the time, and, they were looking out for the immediate family, but they never felt any great need to, make the world a better place. Certainly that kind of, the idea of nonprofit or service or whatever was never really like their jam. Mm-hmm. But I'm a foster parent, and I have this invisible sucker tattoo that every pitiful animal in the within a few miles can detect, and they all seem to find me. And I've been pretty good at finding them homes. Of the 13 cats I've fostered most recently, 11 of them were adopted out. One passed away, and we kept one. But I think 1 out of 13 ain't bad.
No, that's great.
I'm not yet officially the crazy cat lady.
You're single. You're
I've been single for a really long time, and maybe it's time to think about doing something about that. But
wow,
well, any
now
guys
that
out
Cassie's left the nest.
Do you have a type that maybe it'll reach somebody in Lakeland area that can?
Well, now, since we just recently had Mayim Bialik, the host of Jeopardy, and Steve Wozniak, and I mean, I think that we might have been broadening our audience of the Wild Ride podcast enough to include
a few nerds who might.
Oh, maybe we have smart people listening now.
Do you have a type?
Maybe some of you are smart now. Maybe.
I mean, not that the people are dumb.
No,
but
I know what you mean.
Right.
But like your type, like the people you look for when you get to a new school. Like where are the nerds? Where are the smart people?
Nerdy's good.
Nerdy's good.
I am a sucker for a guy who can play guitar.
Okay.
And
watch
sing.
out.
Yeah, like anybody who can play guitar and sing, that's
Yeah.
There's a fast track on that.
Great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
and pussy eating skills.
Oh my god!
yeah, you can just.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things to get through.
I'm just kidding. Okay, it's like when I made the joke about mom. It's a joke.
Just like, nice joke, Gilly.
Yeah, he wasn't always cool. Like
I don't know that I'm cool now, but
is it nap time?
it is
Just about nap time.
This camera's done.
Is there anything that I love you so much.
I love you so much.
I love you so much, and
I was totally going to spill the beans on some of the stuff that like people
Go for
don't
it.
know.
Go for it.
Like you're afraid of roller coasters.
Yeah, even though I'm pretty candid about that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
quick to-
your wuss cred is pretty strong. Like when we go to theme parks and stuff, you won't go on anything that Dylan, my younger son,
Well, I mean, it was really more like Cassie, who's now sort of, in college, but going back 10 years, Cassie was, I don't know, I guess 10 years ago, Cassie was 10. But I remember like Cassie being 8 years old, and like we would go to Orlando to, the Universal theme park, and I would wait at the exit of the roller coaster.
Yeah, you would babysit Dylan while we went on all the thrill
Right.
rides,
And
and
I
you
read-
wouldn't ride anything that Dylan at age 5 wouldn't go on.
And if Dylan was not with us, I would still be waiting at the exit of the roller coaster because I'm not getting on it.
And you have a whole stand-up bit about how adamant you are about not being a parent.
Yeah.
But you are fucking good with kids. And your uncle skills, like your uncling, I mean, it's partly because you are a kid in disguise. But your
Right.
ability
Not
to...
much of a disguise.
That's true. That's true. When you think back to like swinging Cass around until she would get dizzy and walk and pass out, and like holding her and carrying her, like you have this mushy, fuzzy, like playful uncle, but also nurturing uncle side. And granted, your patients, you want nothing to do with diapers unless you're putting shit on a fan and stuff like that. Like poo flying around on camera is one thing. Poo in a diaper is a whole different ball game.
Did you ever see the shit stamp? You saw that, like when Cassie was a baby, I took her
put it on
dirty
her
diaper
face?
and just smushed it on my forehead.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah.
if you ever find the pregnant cartwheel, I want to see that.
Did that not make it into the tour video?
The pregnant
I think
cartwheel.
that-
I
what's
was
that?
9.5 months pregnant because Cass was late.
Okay.
And Googling, like, how do you induce labor? Like, we had an appointment to induce me a couple of days later.
You ever do
But
a cartwheel to do it?
a friend of Steve's had a gymnastics coach who swore that doing a cartwheel would bring on labor. And at that point, I'd gone for walks around the neighborhood and
we filmed the
eaten
pregnant
spicy
cartwheel.
food. And so I did 2 or 3 cartwheel at 9.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
Cassie's first stunt. And
Nice,
Steve
yeah.
filmed it. It
Yeah.
still
Her
took
first
a
roller coaster.
Pitocin and
I think that might live in the Don't Try This on Volume Tour, or the Volume 2, the tour video.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
But yeah, I'm definitely, Cindy can call me out. I'm definitely a pussy. Like when it comes to roller coasters, when it comes to bungee jumping, I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
you're smarter than people think. You're not nearly as brave as people think.
Not nearly as brave.
Which you're not that great an actor. I mean, I love you and you're really
Hey.
good on camera, and your presence and your timing and all of that is fantastic. And certainly like your ability to be filmed, but you cannot pretend and like inhabit a character who's very different from yourself. And
I think I stand a chance of that.
you can go about 10 degrees to the right or to the left of
I wonder.
your own experience, but
but whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say.
I don't
I'm
know. I don't know that you could necessarily like pretend to be somebody very, very different from yourself. Maybe you could now, but because certainly at the beginning of Jackass, maybe less so now, your acting chops weren't all that. The reason so many of those clips are funny is because you are legitimately terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, watching a brave person jump off a cliff
Yeah.
is just kind of not that.
It's not funny.
It's not that funny. It's not that
Right.
exciting. Watching somebody who's scared out of their mind, but so desperate for attention that they will do something they absolutely loathe and despise. Now there, you've got some material, and the only reason so much of that is funny is because you are scared out of your mind.
Yeah.
And so people are like, "Does your brother even feel pain? Like, how did he get so brave?"
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I might have dropped him on his head once or twice when he was little, but he is a total, like, his man colds are ridiculous. He's a total wuss. And he's not that brave. Like, when you see the face, that's because he's actually feeling it. He's not pretending for the camera.
Yeah.
And you're so much smarter and like softer and mushier than people would think.
Well, thank you, Cindy.
And I think
I don't know if I have anything else. I think
This was amazing.
it was long. I think we
It
went
was
way
one of
over.
our
You'll have to
longer
trim it
shows.
down.
Yeah.
how long has it
Hour
been?
20.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like,
Feel free to trim it.
I was like,
No, I
Steve
don't want
likes to
to.
do 50 minutes. If it's a really good podcast, it's an hour to hour and 10, and this is an hour and 20.
Well, there
You're
we
the-
go.
you're the
I love
best.
you so much.
We didn't even talk about my adrenaline junkie stuff, but that's all
I
right.
mean, when we were kids, you loved roller coasters, and I hated them.
And early in my journalism career, you know, I wanted to interview the death row inmates and go out and like
okay.
at 1 o'clock in the morning and interview the drug dealers and the prostitutes and stuff like that, and understand like why they did what they did.
I want to
and
interview a
stuff
death
like
row
that.
inmate.
You guys could do it together.
Maybe you can get us a contact into somebody on death row, and we'll interview them. You can help us source that.
The guys I interviewed are still there because you know, but
Yeah, like-
It's a life sentence.
they're not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But yeah, like that sort of fascination with crazy stuff. It certainly like it went away once I had kids.
Right.
I'm not putting myself in harm's way or taking risks so much anymore.
That
But
makes sense.
but that you come by that honestly too. But yeah, this was good.
Yeah, I love it. I love you. Thank you so much. I would not normally ask people if they want to promote anything, but I don't think that you want to promote anything.
You know what? I'll promote one thing.
Okay.
I mentioned I'm a foster parent. There is a critical shortage of foster homes right now. There were recently a bunch of news stories about kids having to sleep in social work offices. There is especially a shortage of homes for kids with special needs, teens, and sibling groups. And if anybody has ever like had it in their heart or thought about maybe, you know, you've got a spare room, maybe your kids are leaving the nest, or you've got an only child and, you know, maybe a sibling would be good. I just, you know, it's not easy. Like teenagers aren't easy. Mine might have crashed the car the other night. But oh my gosh, it is so like
Fulfilling.
it is so fulfilling. It has enriched my life in so many ways. I didn't know anything about special needs before my son was born with Down syndrome and autism, but he has made us all such better people. You know, our joke is be more like Dill. He's our little life coach. The world would be a better place if everybody knew how to just be like Dill. So I would say my plug is take a class. Like they're online. They're usually about 3 weeks. In Florida, there's Heartland.
Take a class to become a foster parent.
Yes, because before anybody will place a child with you, you have to be licensed. And in order to be licensed, you take a class, and then there's a home study.
And once you are licensed and do take on foster children, they actually give you money to do that.
Yeah, the state covers the care of the kids. A lot of the kids are available for adoption. And it's just, it is so important. And so many of these kids, man, they didn't do anything to deserve the crap that, you know, has come their way. And I know that, you know, I'm a parent of 5 now. I got 5 names on my necklace. I hatched 2. I've acquired 3 others through my unofficial and then official fostering journey. I'm not done, but it's so important. So yeah, maybe we'll throw up a link for just, find the foster care agency in your area. And there's no risk involved, really, to start by taking the class and then, exploring. Find out about it. And once people get licensed, you can start with respite care, where you just do, a week or two with a kid who are in transition. They have somewhere to go, but you're a stop. Mm-hmm. But it's really important. There are a lot of people fostering pets, but there are not as many fostering humans.
So that's like the next step. The respite it goes big brother, big sister program, and then respite, and then foster.
And then maybe adoption. But yeah, I mean, there's it's not the same step for everybody.
Right.
There, you and I both believe occasionally that there's a greater power that puts people in your path at the right time for the right reason. And, if you believe that, then there's a pretty good chance that the right kid who you're meant to carry the next leg of the journey is going to cross your path. And you can open yourself up to that possibility. So
I love it.
That's my plug.
It's a great plug, and you're a great guest, and you're a great sister. And
I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. All right.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Feel free to cut that sucker down. But
No way. I wish we did more like these.
Paul hates cutting shit down. Yeah, dude. My people. Those of you who stick around to the very end. I call you the street team. Because way back in the beginning, after every episode, I always said, please post a screenshot of something or other and tag the guest and let them know and let them feel the love. And that was sort of my sneaky way of trying to get everybody to promote the podcast. And a lot of you did, and I've always been so grateful for that. And I love it so much when I'm on tour and people come up to me and they say street team. There's different things people say. They say street team. They say it's the age of the selfie. And the crazy, crazy diehards, they say, I'm your second biggest fan. It's just all super fun stuff. And I love you guys. And thank you so much for sticking around through 100 episodes. Woof. Let's go.